Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
You both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I put my heart, dog. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3! Turn that damn
Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Sooner or later, it is going to stop raining out there. I know across a good chunk of our listening audience it has stopped, but across a little other part of it, it is still raining. Rain, 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 go away. Well, at least we're not going to have to worry about that drought for too much longer, I guess. Good to be with you on a Wednesday edition of Halftime. Matt Jones, Matt Travis, Phil Elson with you. How's everyone doing today? We fired up about another World Cup semifinal, Matt?
Yes,
1
sir.
o'clock.
1 o'clock, France and Morocco, the favorites, the defending champs. Phil, I don't know if it's ever happened. Maybe one time, back-to-back World Cup. I mean, you think a lot happens in 4 years. You know, it's hard. So it'd be I think the second time ever that you've had back-to-back champs as France was able to win it.
Wow, yeah. And I mean, there's all sorts of history between those two countries as a colonial power over Morocco for decades and decades, and Morocco being the first African country to make it this far in the World Cup. So that's 1 o'clock. We'll have that on when we get into the third hour of halftime today. I saw this morning Dowell Loggains was introduced to South Carolina fans and media at a press conference with Shane Beamer, who people react when it comes to your main hires as a head coach. And I guess some of the reaction in South Carolina has been negative about the hiring of Dowell Loggains as the offensive coordinator, and Beamer has been firing back at these people. Kind of interesting. He loses Marcus Satterfield to Nebraska, and I mean, I don't know. I'd feel pretty good about a former NFL offensive coordinator taking over, especially Matt. Even if you just look at the idea of Dowell as a former NFL offensive coordinator, just take that up, throw it away. How about him just as a recruiter? How about him just as a recruiter? Isn't it a good hire for South Carolina and a big loss for Arkansas?
Yeah, people that don't know what they're talking about are the people that are saying. I mean, if you know anything about ball and you know anything about Dow, he's a leader of young men, and the X's and O's, he has it, but he has that personable, that relationship to get them to believe you. Big loss, man. And Phil, we were talking about this a little bit, but Arkansas has not gotten any better. Every team in the SEC, I think, has gotten better. We have not got – I mean, we just lost our DC, a guy that can coach, and then you lose a guy that's overqualified to be the tight ends coach. It might be a tough year next year. I don't want to get on it too. I mean, we got all the time, but man, if you look around the landscape, and a lot of people are getting better, and we're not. It's not. It's in. You remember when we lost Randy Shannon, Phil? When he was here, and then we kind of went down a cliff and couldn't win a game when you can't get recruits in, and that's, I mean, what are we doing? Losing our best recruiters. Arkansas, that's what you have to have. You got to have people that can recruit. It's a bad loss for us.
It is.
It's a great hire for South Carolina, and it's a great move for Dowell Loggains.
Well, and it's, I guess it's pretty difficult to try to preach patience right now, right? Which is really all you can kind of hold on to with so much going on across the college football landscape and at Arkansas, where, I mean, you're right. You've had 3 transfers announced they're coming into the program. That does not paper over what you've lost so far, maybe in that transfer portal with Trey Knox going out, Keytron Jackson going out, and you know, the guys that you're losing to the NFL draft, Hazelwood, Sanders, Stromberg. There's definitely, and I don't want to use the term exodus about this, because in Stromberg's case and Drew Sanders' case, maybe in Hazelwood's case too, you just expected that they would, try to get into the NFL. Well, certainly with Stromberg and with Sanders, there's no doubt. With Hazelwood, maybe you thought he'd try to come back another year, but there's been an exodus. That's right, and you haven't had the influx of at least announcements. We see that they've got a receiver out of A&M Commerce. You got the offensive lineman from Florida. But it's difficult right now. It is to preach patience for a fan base that, I think even those who accept the idea that Liberty Bowl was not where you wanted to be, but it's a bowl game at least, and we're trying to rebuild up from 6-7 years of total failure, and it wasn't what you got last year, but at least it's a bowl game. Even those folks, Matt, I think at the same time are having a little trouble with being patient about hiring a DC, about trying to see who's going to play for this team next year. And really, that's separate, Matt, isn't it, from the conversation of who's playing for this team in the Liberty Bowl? Because right now, I don't even know who's going to be catching passes.
You don't know, but it's an opportunity. I think being at the University of Arkansas, that they'll always be able to fill out a team. You're going to have some walk-ons and some other guys and maybe some kids that this will be the only time they get to play for the Hogs. And Phil, you've been – kind of opening my eyes. It's just an exhibition game nowadays for the lower class bowls. It's a place to go get better. We need it for practicing, but it doesn't have any meaning on this year or next year. For it, just what we want to do is it does in a way where we're going to get to practice, but it's record-wise, it's no indication of what your team's going to be next year is what I'm saying. So just the young kids and the kids that didn't get to play, or the kids that want to go out there and play with passion and play hard and wear that Razorback, we'll be all right, man. We'll go out there and fight. That's one thing you don't see in a Razorback team is a lot of quitters. I mean, we had some guys quit on the team this year before the season's over with, and it kind of hurts me a little bit. But and some of the kids did it the right way. They waited till the season was over, and if they want to opt out before the bowl game, then go for it. But it's not a good look when they quit when you still got a game left. So
I found it interesting. You see the Coastal Carolina quarterback Grayson McCall. Started there 3 years. He announced he's going to go into the transfer portal too, but he's still playing in their bowl game. He's going to play in the bowl game in the Birmingham Bowl.
Go play, right? Man. Yeah,
well, they've lost the head coach. Chadwell took the job at Liberty. I don't know who the interim is, but I don't know anybody who has announced that they're going to transfer and then plays in the bowl game. I mean, you had Brooks and Fouché last year transfer after the bowl game. So I found that kind of interesting, and I guess there's a loyalty aspect as far as McCall is concerned. But, I think another reason why it's difficult that we try to preach patience to a fan base is that you haven't heard from the head coach in a while. I mean, I don't remember the last media availability that Sam Pittman had, and that's really where the questions get asked and the answers come from the coach. Coach doesn't do that on social media very much. He might fire back at a fan every once in a while, but we did get a schedule from the Arkansas Sports Information Department that you're going to start hearing from Sam Pittman a lot more in the next 11 days. And in fact, you're going to hear from the strength and conditioning coach later today, the new strength coach, Ben Souders, as a 2 p.m. presser. To introduce him, and I don't think Sam Pittman is speaking at that presser, but he does talk on Friday at 12 noon. And I know a couple of the other press conferences, Matt, are supposed to be thematic. Monday is all previewing Kansas, and then when the early signing period starts, it's all about the signing class that they're bringing in for 2023. I would assume this one that comes on Friday is a little bit more, what would be the term, freewheeling as far as the topics are concerned. I mean, what's at the top of your list when it comes to what do you want to ask Sam Pittman about? And I'll tell you what I think for a lot of folks is at the bottom of the list is the Liberty Bowl, is Kansas, is the lead up to it and everything like that. I think people want to know about a DC. I think people want to know about position upgrades, and losing a couple of guys that maybe didn't expect to lose, including Dowell Loggains. So that'll be pretty interesting on Friday when we're right in the middle of the Pearson Broadcasting Christmas party, and we won't have a show either. But we'll be able to pay attention to what's going on there. But I think that's also, Matt, that's like one of the things I think people want to hear from the head coach. You're so used to doing it on a week-by-week basis. You've got a Monday press conference, you've got a Wednesday teleconference, another presser Wednesday, and then the coach's show. It's been a little less than 2 weeks. I think a week and a half since he last spoke on a radio show on Sam Pittman Live. So that's, I think, another reason why it's difficult to preach patience. You just haven't heard from Sam Pittman much.
Well, and I wonder if any of these holes, any of these gaps on our coaching staff are going to be filled by Friday. Like what you're saying with patience, we might not have any answers. Because you're not really going to go into details of who you're looking at until you get them. I think it's kind of the unwritten rule. You don't really talk about it when you're in negotiations. So who knows who they're going after and that if they're going to get him. I think it was kind of like with Dow. I think it probably took a few days.
Yeah. Well, we'll. What do you want to hear from Sam Pittman? I guess we'd ask you that tomorrow, but let's ask you that today. What is it that you think is top of the list that needs to be asked to Sam Pittman? So often people accuse the Arkansas media of launching softballs towards him. Well, then bring a tough question our way here. 877-377-6963. I want to know what you do. I want to know how you rebuild the wide receiver core. I want to know if maybe you need to bring in a linebacker.
Some men to tackle, right? Yeah.
That's exactly
yes,
right.
Sir.
What you're going to do at the safety position for this upcoming season. I think those are the things that, honestly, you're a little more worried about than anything attached to the Liberty Bowl. And the proof, Matt, is in the pudding of what we spoke yesterday with Steve Earhart, which is that the ticket sales so far have lagged for what Arkansas usually sells for the Liberty Bowl. I think in previous iterations when Arkansas has visited the Liberty Bowl, it's been a program that's been ascending. And it's not to say right now that Arkansas is not ascending.
We're not better than we were.
But they're not better than they were the year before.
I don't think so. I think we're getting worse. You get better, you get worse. You don't stay the same, Phil. That's part of it. And some of our losses we have. I don't know. You got to be patient and see who we bring in. But we're not better today than we were 3 months ago.
Are you good with patience, Matt Jones?
Man, we've been patient as a Razorback fan, huh? I'm a Sam Pittman fan. Let's don't forget about where we were before he got here. We weren't winning any games. Coach Bielema had some lean years. Chad Morris, John. You look at back over the last decade. We have not been spoiled at all. So patience, I think it's part of being a Razorback fan. It's always next year.
You're still doing this experiment.
Still got this.
Yeah, this is still which experiment? Is it a Matt Jones experiment or a Sam Pittman experiment?
The Sam Pittman experiment.
That's right. Well, 3 years in, it's no longer an experiment. Now it is his program. It really is.
He's getting his play right. Phil, isn't you supposed to give him 3 years to get your players in, get everybody, kind of get your culture and everything? Now I know it speeds up with the transfer portal now, and people don't give you 3 years, but isn't that kind of 3-4 years you kind of get all your players in?
I feel like the clock starts a lot earlier now. I really do, with the portal and the aspect of needing to rebuild a coaching staff, and really with one of the coordinators and one of your main position coaches exiting, and maybe another one leaving and following Odom. I know there's talk that maybe Michael Scherer would eventually head out that way, but it's pretty interesting. I think the clock started earlier, probably because you went to the Outback Bowl and finished with 9 wins last year. That usually speeds up the idea that, well, now it is his program. He's got his players in. We'll try to preach patience, but on the other hand, I guess you want to start seeing some results as far as a defensive coordinator is concerned, what your defense is going to look like. And you want to know where the holes are going to be plugged, because right now there are numerous holes on the football roster. We do have a hole in the upcoming segment. Grant Hall unable to join us today because he is out on a golf junket in Arizona and is currently doing what I think Grant enjoys doing more than anything else, which is hit a small white ball.
Chasing that white ball around, huh?
Yeah. That's exactly right. But we do have Alyssa Orange standing by in hour number 2 and Bill King for his usual hit in hour number 3. We're going to talk with Bill a lot about Mike Leach. I don't have any personal stories about Mike Leach. I don't think Matt does either, but I know Bill King does. He did some radio with him a while back and So I'm sure he'll have some things about Mike Leach that maybe we haven't heard yet, because we've heard a whole lot of very interesting stories, not just the funny stuff and the quotes about Mike Leach. It's about the influence that he had across the college football landscape, which is just going to grow and grow in the coming years. Plus calls and texts, and in fact, the phone line's open for the next segment.
Yeah, sorry about that. I did tell a caller we had a guest coming up, so sorry if you're listening. You can call back now.
Okay, we can call back. 877-377-6963. And halftime will come right back.
Arkansas, will you make the Final Four in them wacky uniforms with the pigs with horns? And did I hear you say you were playing a game today with the home crowd yelling woo, pig suey? Hey, those pigs may be hogs, but they're kosher to me. Capiche?
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas wins a national championship.
The Big Ten is up and filled with lots of Christmas gift savings at Jelco Outdoors. Hey Dude shoes for men, women, and children. Buy one pair, get the second pair 50% off. Masio clothing by Paramount and Remote, 50 to 75% off original price. Select hang-on ladder and climbing tree stands, 20% off. And casual clothing, save up to 50% off. Don't miss the Big Tent sale at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Shop local, shop Jelco Outdoors.
Would you like to cut your heating bills without cutting comfort, lower your utility costs, while enjoying the reliability and efficiency of a new Luxair HVAC system? Have your contractor call J&B Supply to hook you up with a Luxair system perfectly suited for your home. Luxair provides optimal comfort, energy savings, and lasting performance. J&B Supply, where the professionals go for all their HVAC and plumbing needs since 1968. J&B Supply, with locations in Fort Smith, Springdale, and Bentonville.
Make today more interesting with Betley's online sports betting action. You can bet on pro and college games with Betley, the only online sports book in Arkansas and Tennessee. And right now, every new customer can cash in on a $250 risk-free first bet. Download the Betley Sportsbook app now in the Apple and Google Play Store, or visit Betley.com. With Betley, every game matters.
Must be 21 or older and located in Arkansas or Tennessee to bet. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Up to $12,000 off on premium pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. The biggest savings are right on the front row. The manager specials, huge variety, great selection, and even bigger savings with up to $12,000 off. Most of these vehicles still have factory warranty remaining, so you can buy with confidence. And nobody will pay more for your trade than Harry Robinson. Up to $12,000 off on pre-owned vehicles. Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal.
Gray Brothers Equipment understands the importance of your hay crop, and they're ready to help with quality Kubota products like Kubota rotary disc mowers, Kubota brand wheel hay rakes, and BV round balers attached to Kubota's M-Series cab tractor. Together, Kubota and Gray Brothers will make your hay days fun again. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Photo, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
For 33 years, Manfield's Automotive Parts City Auto Parts has been trusted as your one-stop for all your vehicle needs. Get a great deal on a Superstart battery and any of the products you need for the do-it-yourself upkeep on your car or truck. When you need work done, Mansfield Automotive Parts City Auto Parts does everything from oil changes, brakes, alignments, diagnostic work, air conditioning, and more. Mansfield Automotive Parts City Auto Parts in downtown Mansfield is open 8 to 5:30 Monday through Friday and 8 to 1 on Saturdays.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
So we usually have Grant Hall on right now. Grant is golfing in Arizona. He told me a few days ago that he hit a hole-in-one, third one that he'd hit in like the last 2 years.
Pixar, it didn't happen.
Well, yes. That's the way things go now, isn't it? Matt, have you hit a hole-in-one? You're the main golfer as far as I'm concerned on this show.
I have one 165-yard 6-iron, hit my slice and landed 18 feet left of the hole and just sliced on into the hole, and then I went ahead and got double bogey, triple bogey on the next 2 holes after that. So but I saw one about 6 weeks ago or so that was cool. I mean I've seen one this year, but I don't know, Phil, like hole-in-ones I won.
Was yours by accident?
All my shots, I don't even know if they call what I do golf. Yeah, it's exercise. Yeah, no, I was really trying to hit the shot. It's just got lucky.
You got pics, you got a video. That's how this works.
I'm off the grid, Holmes.
That's right.
Yeah, we don't join systems and stuff. We don't post on the internet. The internet posts on me. I can't do it.
Oh man, they have a show on ESPNU today, 2 hours long, remembering Mike Leach. I've never seen this kind of outpouring for somebody across the college football landscape before. I really haven't. This is unique. I think part of it is because of the circumstances. Chuck asked us a couple days ago. I don't remember a college football coach dying while he was still an active head coach. If anybody does remember that, let us know. But I can't remember.
Was Newt Rockne? Was that a guy that coached Notre Dame? Was he one that passed years ago when he was?
I don't know. I don't know the circumstances around.
So because to answer your question, Phil, somebody I believe told me that's the only one that it's happened when. But I'll have to look it up. So that might be the only one that's actually, Phil, when Kobe passed, that hurt me a little. Kobe that was one of those that you're just like, what in the world? He just got done playing, like he was talk about healthy and all that stuff. That was weird.
Now, when that happened, ESPN, that was on the weekend, they changed their entire programming and format. They just quit playing commercials and focused on it. It's like that hit everybody.
And Matty T, they just came out with the new awards for all the like the MVP trophy, the Sixth Man of the Year, Most Improved, and I thought they'd have a Kobe trophy.
I was surprised they didn't have one. Which would you name after Kobe Bryant?
Just intensity or the defensive play. You something with his passion and intensity that he had. If you wanted to say the scoring title or whatever, there's an array. There's an array of things you could use for him.
I think that's the way to go at it. Maybe. He was so much more than just scoring points, but it's like they had to figure out a way in baseball. They wanted to have a Hank Aaron award, and it just turned into the best hitter. The best hitter award in each league, and we're like, well, I kind of thought that might be the MVP. But no, that's supposed to take everything into account all at once. But yeah, Stan from Glenwood, Bo Ryan, LSU coach, never coached a game for LSU though.
The last flight of Newt Rockne. He was he boarded a transcontinental and Western Air flight headed to Los Angeles. Los Angeles.
Well, Rockne had pretty heavy influence on the sport of college football. If that would have happened today, you'd have the same treatment that Mike Leach is getting. But Rockne won
Notre Dame legend,
national
right?
championships. Yeah. He was Notre Dame football. With Leach, this is a different thing. And Matt, it goes so much deeper than just his humor or press conference answers. I hate the idea of boiling somebody down to, well, he just made us laugh, and you could just put a microphone in front of him and ask a question and go with that.
Yeah, and Phil, look at to your point, look at all his other players that he's coached, where they're all sprinkled throughout the college landscape. And so to your point, he has touched college football like few coaches have. Like he's sprinkled all Lincoln Riley out at USC, Josh Heupel at Tennessee. You look at some of these teams that are having success this year. They have that Mike Leach lineage, that Mike Leach coaching tree in them.
Well, and that's where he was what he was. He was entertaining. He was a great quote. You never knew what you were going to hear. But the influence, like he changed the sport of college football through this offense. Totally changed it. Why do we think?
What do you think these high schools are running? It's all a copy of this Mike Leach air raid. Get the ball out of your hands quick, and a little bit of Gus Malzahn. But you look at these high schools. That's what they're running.
The numbers for quarterbacks are pretty crazy as far as passing yards go now. Much different than it was back in the day, where I just remember college football, like the Big Ten for a while, was turn and hand it off to a big running back and take it from there.
Kajana Carter, Tim Biakabatuka. Yeah, right. They all had them. Yeah.
The Big 12 was kind of the same way before it turned into what we picture Big 12 football.
Oh, Barry
being.
Switzer running the option. Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Well, he's the one who changed it.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one who changed it. What did I read? After he was at Texas Tech, and I guess this was like a thing that Brett Bielema was attacking when he went into the Texas High School Football Coaches Association banquet, if I remember the story correctly, and kind of lambasted their style of football. Well, that's the style of football that has taken over the entire country, and it was started by Hal Mumme, and then Mike Leach was the one who made it popular. And the thing that's so crazy, and I don't understand his offense, but I've seen playbooks, right? Offensive playbooks that are about as thick as the Yellow Pages used to be.
Mm-hmm.
The Yellow Pages now are about as thick as a slice of paper. I don't even know if they're around much anymore. But that's basically, what did I read? His playbook basically could have fit on one piece of paper folded over.
I love it. It's whatever they do is wrong. It's the old flex offense that we ran in junior high and high school basketball. Everybody ran it. It's whatever they do is it's the same thing in the wishbone when you're running the option. Whatever the defense does, it's wrong. So you simplify it. So wherever he goes, you're going to go right. If he goes right, you're going left. If he stays back, you curl it up right there. It's in your quarterback. It's repetition. So, Phil, if you only have 17 plays and different concepts, man, it's so much easier to get good at it than if you have 47 and you're not good at anything. And Coach Nutt used to say that. He's like, man, get you about 3 or 4 plays that you can ride with. Every year you need to have a couple plays that you can go to. And that's one thing Coach Leach did. He always had a couple plays. Petrino does that, he runs those mesh routes and then the clear out with the out route. It's just like every time you see his teams play, you know what they're going to do, but they check to it whenever. That's what I'd like to see us do this in the bowl game is we're running the ball until they get to man, then we'll check to our pass. If we'll just do that, we can probably win this game if we're worried about it, but that's kind of what they do.
Well, I remember watching this year's game with Arkansas and Mississippi State. Leach changed a little bit of the philosophy because the Hogs basically dared him to run the ball. He did run the ball, and they had a lot of success doing it. So at least he did show in that case the ability to change around, the way that they go about things. But just look at some of the quarterbacks that played for him, and who of his college quarterbacks had all that much success in the NFL? It was the last guy that played at Washington State for him that then.
Oh, the guy with the mustache?
Yeah, with the stash. That everybody was.
The thing that Leach did really well is making that pass game be an extension of your run game. You get it out real quick and you get it to your slot receivers out in space. It's kind of like Rocket Sanders. He was a slot receiver, and then we put him in the running back. So there's different ways to go about it, but the concepts he did. And so now you got 2 guys. You got your slot and your other slot that you're able to get the ball real quick, and they're in space and able to make somebody. And shoot, you look at us. We're not the best tackling team, so there's a lot of teams in the country. It's hard to tackle.
Gardner Minshew, thank you very much, Greg from Fort Smith. I should have known that name, but I didn't couldn't remember it off the bat. He had just a little bit of success for a couple of minutes with the Jacksonville Jaguars, but there are quarterbacks that are utilizing that kind of system at other programs that are having success in the NFL. But I can't think of all that many, if any, of his star college quarterbacks that turned into much in the NFL, and it's not an indictment of their talent. It's really a show of how good of a coach he was.
Yeah, he took everywhere he went, Phil, his teams got better, and he was one of those coaches that had less talented teams, and he got the most out of them. 100% correct.
And then there's the personality, and these, that does go along with the story of Mike Leach. I've seen so many people refer to him as being just who he was, and didn't try to, essentially like put lipstick on a pig. He was who he was. He was real and unique and genuine. Like, that's the thing. I worked for a person at the Arkansas Travelers that I viewed very much the same way. There was only one Bill Valentine. Everybody could have an imitation of him, or they have stories about him, and maybe people that are like that are just genuine. They are who they are. They're the real thing, and sometimes you just don't know what to believe about what a coach is like when you see them on camera. They kind of manicure their personalities in some of those cases. Mm-hmm. When you're in front of the cameras. Leach didn't care. He was who he was, and if you didn't like it, well, then I don't think he cared very much. and he was just genuine. And I think Sam Pittman is genuine too. I think Sam's a little more guarded now as a head coach than he was as an assistant at Georgia. But guarded is not the word that you would ever use to describe Mike Leach. Not at all. 877-377-6963 for calls and for texts on halftime. Got you up until 2 o'clock today, and we're brought to you by WT Equipment with 8 locations serving customers across Arkansas and North Louisiana. The newest locations open in Searcy. WT Equipment, you know them, an authorized New Holland agriculture and construction equipment dealership. They offer equipment sales, service, and parts. They are your source when you need equipment to be ready for harvest or put up hay over the summer. If you're in the market for compact track loaders or excavators, WT Equipment has it at any one of their 8 locations. They have a large selection of new and pre-owned inventory. And, of course, you can also see everything at WTEquip.com. All right, we're going to step aside for a break. More halftime after this.
Am I wrong? And you may say to yourself, my God, what have I done? Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground. Into the blue again, into the silent water, under the rocks and stones, there is water.
It started as a dream, and here you are. It's moving day. But wait, isn't moving supposed to be stressful? Oh, that's right. You bought your home using Weichert Realtors. Your Weichert agent guided you from start to finish to help make sure we found you your perfect place. Dream, move, home, Weichert. Call your local Weichert Realtors office today and make your move. And look for our bright yellow signs. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Hell is a big enough problem on its own. Good Thing Dent Source LLC is on the job, specializing in auto hail repair from personal vehicles to large fleet. Dent Source LLC makes customers smile, one vehicle at a time. High insurance deductible? No problem. Dent Source LLC will pay your deductible. Need a loaner vehicle during repair? No problem. Dent Source LLC has free loaner vehicles. Stop by 2820 South Zero Street, across from Play It Again Sports, or call 479-337-4443. That's 479-337-4443. Dent Source LLC. No problem.
Need a career change? Unhappy with your current job? Want to get paid more and work less? Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric has the opportunity for you. Apply today at PascalCareers.com for our next HVAC maintenance training program. Pay starts day one and includes great benefits like our 4-day work week after completion. Plus, you'll learn valuable skills from some of the top techs in the industry. Classes start in January with job openings across the state. Apply today at PascalCareers.com.
Flu season is here, and Law's Drugstore in Fort Smith has flu shots available now to safely care for you and your family. Law's Drugstore still has COVID vaccinations and boosters available for ages 5 and up, as well as shingles, pneumonia, and whooping cough vaccines. Call 452-6116 to schedule your flu or vaccine shot appointment, or stop by Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore opens 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Get by your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith and make it a double combo with the Jamie Foxx Fox on the Rocks box with Friday's big ribs and wings served with seasoned fries and one of our 2 new awesome sauces. The new Fox on the Rocks barbecue sauce made with BSB brown sugar bourbon flavored whiskey and whiskey glaze blaze. And now Fridays has $2 beer all day every day. So stop by your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 and Rogers in Fort Smith.
Building a home can be stressful. This is true whether you're the homeowner or the contractor. Many times these issues result in a lawsuit. If you are a homeowner or a contractor and find yourself needing legal help, call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partners. With experience representing homeowners as well as non-payment or other issues that could arise during construction. Contact Brad Hull or Kevin Hickey at 479-434-2414 in the River Valley or 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas. Or check them out on the web at artriallawyers.com.
State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot now through Christmas Eve at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Get your state sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle now through Christmas Eve at Harry Robinson. You'll save hundreds, even thousands with state sales tax paid. This does not apply to previously negotiated deals. State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot now through December 24th at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
So then I thought, well, you know, all the guy really does is the coin toss. And then I decided, you know, one of the most screwed up things about this country is the fact that in order to do anything, in order to cross the street, we always have to have a committee, you know. And I said, you know, and so I figured, well, screw the committee. We really only need one guy. And now he's got to be smart enough to call either heads or tails. That's it. And so then I thought about, well, should I get the biggest guy on the team or the littlest guy on the team? And then I thought, well, Jamal Morrow was on The Price is Right and was fairly lucky and went to the final round and almost won the sucker. And it was closest to the price, but he's over by like $3. The other person's under by like $60, but since he's over, he loses. And so I figured, well, Jamal Morrow's a lucky guy. And plus, he's got pretty good energy to him and stuff like that. So why not Jamal Morrow? And so then Jamal Morrow goes out and did have an amazing knack for winning the toss. And then, I mean, wins it almost all the time. I mean, literally. I'm serious about this. I don't know what his record is, but it's something incredible. And then... But I don't even really care about that because one way or the other, you get the ball one half or the other, except one time when I played Nebraska. Oh, I'll tell you a story on that in a second. So hold on to your hat. And then, so Morrow goes out there and he had a funny tendency to win. Then I'm thinking, I don't want to sit here and think of and sort out a new guy to do it. So Jamal Morrow has gone out there for the coin toss for about 2.5 years and quite honestly done a tremendous job in my opinion. Then we got on a roll, and so then I liked it even better.
It's crazy. That was one of my favorite things I'd heard from Leach discussing his strategy of the coin toss. So he picked a sophomore Morrow was a sophomore, I think, when he had. Now you're not a captain, I guess, at that point. But if you're the guy going out for the coin toss, that kind of makes you the captain,
Got to
right?
be smart enough to go heads or tails, right?
That's a pretty. Hey, Matty T knows the importance of knowing the ability to choose the right coin and the right side of the coin.
That's right. And so I know this is on the radio, but Matt, you see my Aldi quarter holder?
Yeah.
You see how worn it is over the years of hard work.
We know. I know who we're
right
sending out, Phil. If we
right.
got to send somebody out, we know who we got.
I was going to ask you. I mean, did you ever do? You had to have done the coin flip at some point.
Well,
right?
you know, when you get the ball out there, you'll have, and this has happened in a junior high game or a high school game. I want to say, man, we had one of our captains go out there, and so if you defer your option to the second half, you got to say receive. You know, you can't, because then they get their chance to say. And so we defer our option. They're like, what do you want to do? We say kick. And then so we had to kick off at the start of the first half and the start of the second half. So that was good coaching by our coaches. Yeah.
I think I remember when that happened.
I mean, it's like,
wait a minute.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing, guys? I mean, that's stuff you learn in 7th grade, and you got your high school coaches that I was at doing that stuff. They didn't know what they were doing.
So you do have to be a little smarter than just saying heads or tails.
Well, I mean, it starts with your coach.
Yeah, it's a good point. Very good point. I remember a coin flip. It was a Thanksgiving NFL game, Steelers and the Lions in Detroit, and the game went into overtime. This is, of course, when it was true sudden death. First points in overtime ends the game. The Steelers.
Oh, with Jerome Bettis. Was that the one you're talking about?
Bettis.
Yeah.
That's right. It was with Bettis.
And the next,
I don't remember, like he said you could hear him say
you can.
The side of the coin that landed up. And the referee, guy's name was Phil Luckett.
And then the next week, Phil, Jerome came out with a piece of paper that just said tails on it. So he's like, so everybody could know.
That's exactly right, yeah. And Myron Cope told the Pittsburgh fans for the next 2 weeks to boo Phil Luckett from here to Nantucket.
That's funny.
Yeah, anyway, see, look at this Mike Leach coaching tree. I mean, these are current head coaches across college football and in the NFL. Dave Aranda at Baylor, Neil Brown at West Virginia, Sonny Dykes at TCU, Sonny Cumbie at Louisiana Tech, Josh Heupel at Tennessee, Dana Holgerson at Houston, Cliff Kingsbury, now with Arizona, Lincoln Riley at Southern California, and Ken Wilson at Nevada. Now, I know Aranda and Dykes and Mike Leach, they did not play football. They did not play college football. Leach played rugby at BYU.
Well, didn't he get 2 degrees? He played high school football, but he went to school to, was it he was a lawyer in I don't know if it was a marketing analyst or what, but he ended up getting 2 degrees and then ended up saying he wanted to be a coach.
Yeah, it was lawyer. I know. Well, how many other managers, head coaches also have a law degree? Tony La Russa was kind of famous for that, but he wasn't as interesting or entertaining, I think, as Mike Leach was.
Yeah, he was funny. He was sharp, and he kind of kept it. You never knew where he was going, but it always seemed, it might not have made all the way sense, but it was like, yeah, you could probably, you're like, yeah, I get it. He was cool.
But he changed the game, man. I mean, it's just growing up in Pittsburgh in the early to mid '80s, I still remember Dan Marino playing for Pitt. That was not 3 yards in a cloud of dust. They tried to open things up a little bit. Back then, even in the Northeast, they did open it up. But football was different, I think, down this way then. And, I mean, I think the style this is kind of crazy to think about. Like, without Mike Leach and his influence upon the sport, Alabama would still be doing the things that I think are part of Nick Saban's DNA. Turn, hand it off, and let my big running back do something with it, and let these big hogs up front, push everybody out of the way. I mean, this is one of the reasons. It's like somebody pointed out to us yesterday.
And get my 5-star receiver on single coverage, right, Phil? They do that until you single up my 5-star Julio Jones out there, and then I throw it to him. Yeah.
There are reasons to induct somebody into a Hall of Fame, and it blows my mind that as of right now, Mike Leach would be ineligible for induction into the College Football Hall of Fame because of his winning percentage. And somebody pointed out yesterday Howard Schnellenberger's the same thing. Like Schnellenberger's last 2 or 3 years, he coached at Florida Atlantic. He built their football program up. That's why I think his record was sub 60% winning percentage. Schnellenberger belongs in the Hall of Fame. He's got a national title or two and had an incredible amount of influence on the way the sport was played in the 1980s with Miami and Nebraska, of course. And now like Leach is .598 winning percentage. But the influence, it's the influence that he had on the sport. Like there's a pitcher in Cooperstown whose name is Candy Cummings. He's in the Hall of Fame. He had a record that was sub 500. And back in the 1880s when he pitched, like they cared about the pitcher's record differently than they do now. Why is Candy Cummings in the Hall of Fame? He invented the curveball. I don't know. That seems to be a pretty influential thing to invent. Mike Leach's offense, which I know is Hal Mummy's offense, is so influential that it's got to supersede his winning percentage, doesn't it?
He made it his own, and the concepts are everybody has the same concepts. It's just how do you get there? I think it's for the people that are in that committee, and Mike Leach is funny. He was talking about the committee earlier, but whoever the people that are in that committee need to get it right, and I think they will. I'm with you. You want to tell the story of the game, and the thing is, he went to 19 bowls in 21 seasons, and look at the programs. Look at how they were before he got there. He wasn't, it wasn't like somebody had all this talent, and they're like, let's go get Mike Leach. It's like he wasn't understood, and people are like, well, he's a winner. And to your point, though, it's like he was always authentic. And I think that's why the players like him and why everybody loved him is because he was always real with you.
We like realness. We like authenticity. We like being genuine. He was. I don't think you can say that about every coach across the college landscape in all the sports. 877-377-6963 as we get into wrapping up hour number one in just a moment. First, want to remind you, you have 4 days left to enter the Champion Cycling Bike Giveaway at hitthatline.com. We're giving away 2 bicycles from Champion Cycling in Fort Smith, an adult specialized Alley road bike, and a specialized 12-inch Rip Rock kids bike. All you got to do, go to our website, hitthatline.com. There's a free bike link. Click it, leave the info. Easy as that. You can enter up until December the 18th. The winners announced early next week on the Morning Rush. It's brought to you by Champion Cycling in Fort Smith at 5500 Massard Road and at championcycling.com. Hour number one wraps up after a quick break.
Have a loan with a variable to balloon rate? That might be a problem if it's due to reprice soon. Let Farm Credit fix your problem with a long-term fixed interest rate loan. Farm Credit's terms are the longest in the ag industry, ensuring you'll have peace of mind for years to come. At Farm Credit, you have nothing to lose. When rates begin to drop, you can easily readjust your rate again with no refinancing application, no new appraisals, no new title work. We make it simple. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Equal housing lender.
Frank Rowe Furniture December tax-free Christmas sale. Frank Rowe Furniture carries made-in-the-USA furniture, including Catnapper, Jackson, and Best Home Furnishings, just to name a few. Frank Rowe Furniture also carries made-in-the-USA Speed Queen washers and dryers, and December is the month to buy. They have slashed their prices more than ever before and no sales tax. Frank Rowe Furniture wants to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and celebrate our Savior, Jesus Christ. Frank Rowe Furniture, best seats in the house, 405 Fort Street, Farley.
United Hail Pros is your one-stop shop auto body repair shop, specializing in paintless dent repair. Locally owned and operated, zero out-of-pocket with free car rental from Enterprise, with a lifetime warranty. Got hail damage? Don't delay. Call United Hail Pros yesterday. 479-309-3998. That's 479-309-3998.
The nation's best home court advantage lives inside Bud Walton Arena. The Razorbacks are back inside the Basketball Palace of Mid-America, and Coach Muss and the Hogs need you there and need you loud. The nationally ranked Razorbacks are rounding out their early season non-conference slate before welcoming the Missouri Tigers for the 2023 SEC home opener on Wednesday, January 4th at 7:30 p.m. If you've got tickets, make sure they're being used. Or if you need some, go online right now and get some today.
So when they want to party right to make the party place place. It's time to party. So come to the party place. Let's party.
Shop Metters Lumber True Value for great bargains of the month. Stay warm this winter with a Honeywell 2-position heater for $44.99. Pick up a 44-piece Master Mechanic tool set for only $29.99. Complete your toolkit with a 29-piece DeWalt screwdriver bit set for just $11.99. Choose from a 16-pack of AA or AAA Energizer Max Alliance batteries for only $15.99. Grab an 18-gallon Sterilite storage container for just $9.99. Get these bargains of the month while supplies last at Metters Lumber True Value.
Searching for a promising career change? Looking for an established company that pays competitively and values its team members? Then come be a part of the Beckert family. Beckert and Van Buren has immediate openings for production operators paying up to $29 an hour. Sundays are paid at time and a half, and night shift work has an added premium of $1 per hour. Applications are available 24/7 at Beckert, located off I-40 at Exit 3. Apply today.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Put on your yarmulke, here comes Hanukkah. So much funaka to celebrate Hanukkah. Hanukkah is the festival of lights. Instead of one day of presents, we have 8 crazy nights. But when you feel like the only kid in town without a Christmas tree, here's a list of people who are Jewish, just like you and me. David Lee Roth lights the menorah. So do Kirk Douglas, James Caan, and the late Dinah Shore. Guess who eats together at the Carnegie Deli? Bowser from Shanana and Arthur Fonzarelli. Paul Newman's half Jewish and Goldie Hawn's half too. Put them together, what a fine-looking Jew.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Or jingle
all of the songs involving Hanukkah, Adam Sandler's has turned into the most famous and probably most popular. And now he will be. Did you see this? Adam Sandler is going to be the next recipient of the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor.
I think he deserves it.
Underrated.
I think he's.
Well, he stays in his lane, though. I don't know if he's under. The people that like him, you know, and some people just don't understand.
Dude,
he stays in his
I'd
lane.
say for a decade, people were kind of crapping on him a little bit. You know what I mean?
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah. But I think he's even bounced back from that, and now people are starting to really appreciate him.
It's just he knows. It's like Ryan Reynolds is the same in every single movie he does. Every single movie.
What was that movie he did where he was he owned that jewelry shop that I watched?
Oh, was it Uncut?
Uncut Gems?
Yeah,
KG.
That was a great,
My man KG.
Movie.
The movie Hustle is good that he
I
did
hadn't
last
seen
year on
that.
Netflix.
Yeah, I
too.
know Ben Foster's in that, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch it. Anything he's in,
I think
usually
you
watch.
both would like that movie.
Well, look, I mean, the idea that it's like, all right, so he's really goofy and he makes jokes about peeing and you know and sings about lunch ladies and stuff
But I
like
like
that.
the roast beef.
Hey, man, you know, like Jonathan Winters, who was the second ever winner of the Mark Twain Prize award, was pretty silly too. You know, so was well, Bob Newhart will be on the opposite end of Adam Sandler, wouldn't he? Newhart, the button down comic. Yeah, I don't think he would make quite the same jokes or sing the same songs necessarily. Steve Martin, Neil Simon, great playwright, Billy Crystal, George Carlin. They took Cosby's award away for obvious reasons. Tina Fey, Will Ferrell, Ellen DeGeneres. It's an interesting one there, especially with some of the stuff that came out about Ellen. Did you see her DJ committed
died.
suicide?
No, I didn't see why he died. I just saw that he died at
Well,
40.
it says reports are that
Yikes.
it was suicide. What was his nickname? Was Twitch. Carol Burnett. Burnett was about as silly as anybody, man. So I mean, and I think anyone that would say like Adam Sandler is not like the thinking person's comedian. It's not necessarily what comedy's about. And
you see Funny People, Phil?
Which one?
Do you see Funny People?
Did not see that one.
It's got Jonah Hill. It's got a lot of them. It's about it's got what's that Leslie Mann.
It's a Judd Apatow
Yeah,
movie.
Leslie Mann. Like you would dig it, man. It's funny.
I got to see Adam Sandler live in Nashville about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's before his Netflix special came out, and before he had hosted Saturday Night Live and did that Chris Farley song at the end. There was not a dry eye in the place, man. It was so good. But
well, he's going on another tour. This kind of coincides with the announcement of him.
His stand-up was great, and he has all original songs now.
You think anybody would ever come and rush the stage and slap him in the face like they did Chris Rock? You know, like it's
everybody. Come on,
he's
not offensive to anybody.
It's all a matter of whose wife he's taunting.
Yeah. I didn't think that was offensive either. I just man,
I think there was some demons going on.
There
in
was
Will
some more
Smith's
stuff
mind
there.
at
Other
that
issues.
moment. Yeah. Well, the closest Sandler's going to be anywhere in Arkansas is in Kansas City on February the 11th.
That's
St.
drivable.
Louis on February the 10th. Austin and Dallas also on this.
Wouldn't you like to shoot some 3-pointers with him? Have a beer and shoot some threes. He's a big basketball guy.
I recommend going to see him. He's great.
He might actually make a couple of 3-pointers too. Second hour of halftime right after this quick top of the hour break.
For a dependable, fuel-efficient tractor from a company committed to the future, choose a Branson tractor. Each of our tractors is backed by a 6-year limited warranty with models available ranging in horsepower from 22 to 58. You are sure to find the tractor that is right for you. Make sure you call or stop in today at the new location for Bush Tractor at 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Again, that is 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Or you can check them out online at bushtractor.com.
Hardee's new Charbroiled Double Deals, starting at $2.99 each, have the Academy for New Offerings hailing this double cheeseburger deal as very new indeed. How much more new does it get than the new Bacon Double Cheeseburger and the new California Classic Double Cheeseburger? Not much newer than that. Well, I've got news for the Academy. After this, I'm getting myself a double cheeseburger from this new deal. The new Charbroiled Double Deal starting at $2.99 each at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Tax not included for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Visit restaurant or app for details.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Lesson 86. This is how you say, gee willikers, it's a hot one. Let's cool down with some Bud Lights. And that's it for today. Bud Light, crisp.
Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you ready to ride like a rock star? Then contact Luxury Limousines. Their 28-foot stretch limousines set up to 8 people. Once you're inside, enjoy superior sound, enhanced lighting, ice-cold AC, plus your own chauffeur to take you anywhere. College games, concerts, special events, and the upcoming Christmas holiday light tours. Just go to Facebook and like Luxury Limousine. Serving Fort Smith and all of Northwest Arkansas. Luxury Limousines.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we will see a decrease in the clouds today. Our temperatures this afternoon will be into the low to mid 50s with a possibility of just a few showers across the south. Now, tonight we're clear and colder, overnight lows, low 30s, and then sunny skies, highs in the 40s on Thursday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
Good station.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
You both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I put my heart, dog. Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones. Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! 1, 2, 3! Turn that back, your
Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Second hour of halftime underway here. We'll be joined by Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation in about 15 minutes or so. Finals week is upon us. We're in the middle of it. Finals week is never any fun for college football, college basketball fans, college baseball fans. They usually get a game or two thrown in there, but that's the way it goes. Never enjoy taking finals, especially when you want to watch your basketball team get on the court. And Saturday, of course, and we got another question about is the game on television? No, anytime Arkansas plays in North Little Rock, I think it's just a foregone conclusion now for the time being. They will not be televised. Same with the baseball team. But you know how this works out. Somebody is going to live stream as much of the game as he or she possibly can over whatever social media channel or channels that person has access to. And the security staff will be looking for them. And we'll just see. I wonder how long they'll be able to keep it up. It's been, about like 10 minutes? Sometimes you never get a full half of basketball. But for those who are wanting to watch Arkansas against, who they have? Bradley on Saturday at Simmons Bank Arena. Just, get on your Twitch, get on Twitter, get on TikTok. Somebody will have it probably live streamed for as long as they can. As far as I know, I'll be at the women's game in Omaha, Nebraska, as Arkansas and Creighton will do battle. Finals week as a student is a little bit of pressure. Matt, when you had finals week and there was bowl preparation to worry about, what was that week like for you? Was it just you have plenty of opportunities to just kind of focus on your tests, I guess.
Yeah,
at that point.
Coach Nutt was really good about that, and I was able to. My freshman year was able to keep a GPA high enough that I didn't have to go to the mandatory study hall. Both my parents are teachers, and so it's kind of. I'm not saying class was easy for me, but when you show up. If you show up to class, I was one of those guys that I showed up to class every day. Like if I show up to class every day and I see the information coming in, I can spit it back out to you to get a C.
They usually tell you like half of life is just showing up,
right? And so that was the thing, and I'd show up, and I remember I had it was like a Western civilization class, and I really liked my teacher, but I was in over my head. Like whatever they were doing, I just wasn't ready for it yet, and I ended up getting a C in the class, and I told him, I said, thanks for that C, and he's like, no, you earned that C, man. I was like, heck yeah, I did.
My father has tried to preach to me for a long time that half of life was showing up, and I don't know if he got that idea stuck in my head the first 2 years of college, or really the first 4 or 5 years of college, because there were some classes that I had trouble showing up at. But I shouldn't say that it was that I had trouble with it. I just didn't show up.
Yeah.
There was an 8 o'clock algebra class my first
semester. That
semester.
didn't even sound fun. Yeah.
No, but this was a class that was in my dorm. Like they made it that easy for anybody that lived in the dorm at Indiana.
To get these 3 credits.
Yeah, to get these stupid 3 credits. Algebra at 8 in the morning is painful. But then again, so is taking kids to school on a daily basis. And we do that anyway a little earlier than that. If I just would have showed up, maybe things would have gone a little bit different. Good for you, though, Matt, for showing up. But, I think you had...
But I'm like you. I had a couple classes maybe I just didn't want to go to and didn't show, but for the most part, and Coach was good. And they'd check on you, Phil. Like Coach Nutt, they'd send people around. If you weren't there, you know what you were doing at practice? You were running. And I wasn't about to do some extra running for I could go to class, and where else am I going to see pretty girls? You go to class and try to sit next to the ladies. Come on.
This guy has a one-track mind.
Yeah, no kidding. I could have worn pajamas into that algebra class. We used to call them magic pants then. Could have worn the flannel magic pants to class, but I just was too interested in sleeping.
So we had,
or I couldn't wake up at that point. I don't know what it was.
We had the same point of view that showing up is half the battle. But what about the last few years where the college kids didn't even go to campus? They were all working from home.
Okay.
Doing their work from all that stuff.
Skyping them in.
Half of life is having the right amount of battery power left on your iPad. Is that what it is? I guess that's what it used to be. Pinto is giving us a call here. Hey, Pinto, appreciate your phone call. How are you?
Good. I got a going to class story for you. I finished going to the university, but I still had one class to take. Well, immediately I started driving a brown truck for deliveries, a UPS truck, and I ended up delivering on campus. And I was delivering to the business administration building, and the secretary there, she kept telling me, Mark, you need to take that class. You need to take that class. And it was finite math, and I kept, blowing it off. So finally she says, if you don't take that class, they're going to add to the curriculum. So I take it in summer school. I only have an hour lunch. I was on vacation from work the first week, so I didn't even show up. I showed up on Wednesday of the second week, and there was a test on Friday. And finite math is basically put 7 red balls in a paper sack, 4 yellow balls, 3 green balls, and 8 purple balls. What's the probability of pulling a green ball out of the sack?
This sounds like NBA draft lottery logic.
Exactly.
I think it's how the Jets draft their quarterbacks. Yeah.
So, yeah, only an hour for lunch and an hour and 20-minute class, I'd either show up 20 minutes late or leave 20 minutes early. Long story short, I took the final. She said, I went to go see her. She said, I hope a D is okay. And I said, a D gets me a degree.
100%, right?
Yeah. See you later. Bye. Thanks. But anyway, the question I have when I called you guys, and this is just what enters my mind, is a victory formation where a quarterback takes the snap and kneels. Does that count against his rushing statistics?
Yes, it sure does.
Yes.
That should not. That ought to be a team. For whatever reason in basketball, there's team rebounds. I don't know what a team rebound is, but I guess when you rebound the ball, it just kind of tipped out or something.
I don't know what that. Yeah, I don't know what that is, because whoever tips it to you, that's the person that gave it to you. That's
I think
the
a
rebound.
team rebound is one that goes out of bounds.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, somebody's got to get credit for it.
Well, it should not count against your statistics.
Hey, I agree with you. I agree. As a quarterback,
I figured you would agree
yes,
with
sir.
that, Matt. Yeah.
Well, I hate the idea
you take a knee at the end of the half. You take a knee 3 times at the end of the game to run the clock out. And that's just 3 lost yardage plays.
Pinto, the one that I hate is a sack counting against the quarterback's rushing total. I hate it.
Exactly.
And that little pass, I think, when they just hand the ball to the running back, but if you pitch it forward, it counts as a pass, which that was always weird too.
Yeah, that shouldn't count as a pass. That if it's behind the thing,
it's a run, right? Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
the
ball travels 1 inch forward, makes it a forward pass.
Right.
But the NFL doesn't do sacks counting against the quarterback's rushing total. I don't know why college football has to do it differently.
Well, it's not. I don't think it was fair to you, Matt, to have lost yardage plays when you're in victory formation.
Well, a lot of it's not fair, but you know what? It was amazing. It was awesome.
A win is a win.
The best. Hey, the sweetest, the steak it tastes after a game, and the coldest the beer tastes after a game is after you're in that victory formation and you lose those 3 yards. I promise you that. That's the best feeling there is.
I can imagine. All right, guys. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks, Pinto. Matt, if you're eating steak after a win, what are you eating after a loss?
Oh, my dad still takes me to get ice cream. It's like, yeah, what do you do? No, he's still going to check me. Yeah, we're still eating steak.
Yeah, that's the right idea. That's right. Guys got to eat, man. These guys got to eat. Hey, we got a text in here from Greg in Fort Smith. It looks like he's doing Fantasy World Cup soccer. He wants to know your opinion about the lineup that he is putting out there. Count this as a first time ever on any radio station in the entire state of Arkansas that we are now getting a fantasy soccer question. Like, we don't get any fantasy questions here because I don't play fantasy sports. I haven't done fantasy football in probably 18 or 19 years. I don't do fantasy baseball. I don't do any of that stuff. And I don't think you do fantasy stuff either, Matt, but we got soccer questions here.
I was really good at fantasy basketball. I did that for a decade, and a lot of it's trends. You kind of looking at that. But fantasy baseball, I can't keep up with it, Phil.
Too much.
There's a pitcher's not playing. He is playing. Yeah, 15 days. There's just too much. I just don't know enough. Basketball, I was always good at that. And then football. Football's so weird because you don't know. There's a lot of people that it's not necessarily having success one year. You're not going to have that type of success the next year. Where in the NBA, if you're scoring 16 points a game your second year, probably going to score more points a game in your third year.
Now, I might have stopped playing some of those fantasy sports just because I was god-awful at them. It's the same idea as Half of Life is showing up. For classes. Just show up for your classes. Chances are you're going to do well enough that you at least pass them. When it comes to fantasy sports, showing up is just being at your laptop at the right time to set your lineup, and I just never got to that. Maybe I'm just really bad at being on time for anything that doesn't involve sports or radio. Because if you tell me we got a game starting at 7:02, I got to talk to coach at 6, I'll get there at 5:30. Nice and easy. Couldn't make an 8 o'clock class 3 floors down from my dorm room to save my life. Half of life is showing up. The other half is taking breaks when you got to take your breaks and doing your live
Paying
reads.
bills.
You got to do your live reads. That's right. You got to pay your bills too. I could have learned that lesson as a freshman in college as well. The stupid Columbia House CD Club. Great place watching Arkansas sports. Joe's Grilling Cantina. Anytime they got a Razorback game on the TV, they got half-price apps and half-price taps. And in fact, that's what their specials are today. Half-price apps and half-price taps all day long at Joe's Grilling Cantina in Fort Smith. They're located at 3400 South 74th in Fort Smith across from Harps, open Tuesday through Saturday. Go to their website, joesfortsmith.com. You can also download the Waiter app and order from there. Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation joining halftime next.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
When it comes to flooring, go for the Slam Dunk. Quality, price, and service are what you want. So score that three-pointer with Norris Material and Supply Flooring Center. They provide free same-day estimates and financing is available. Norris Material and Supply Flooring Center is your local flooring professional from flooring to countertops. Whether professional or do-it-yourself installation, score big with Norris Material and Supply Flooring Center on the corner of Wheeler and South Y, or call 289-7111. Hablamos Espanol.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and the pipes were leaking. Toilets backed up, and boy, it was reeking. Santa dropped down the chimney of brick, took one sniff, and exclaimed, "Your plumbing smells sick!" Never fear, you can call a team of pipe scholars who'll clean out your drain for just $99. Call Ashley Air and Plumbing, 479-785-1111. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a dry night.
Make today more interesting with Betly's online sports betting action. You can bet on pro and college games with Betly, the only online sportsbook in Arkansas and Tennessee. And right now, every new customer can cash in on a $250 risk-free first bet. Download the Betly Sportsbook app now in the Apple and Google Play Store or visit Betly.com. With Betly, every game matters. Must be 21 or older and located in Arkansas or Tennessee to bet. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Why do people do business with First Western? Because First Western builds relationships with all of their customers. They partner for the long haul to help you with your financial goals over all seasons of life. First Western is prompt, responsive, and they deliver with quick answers and on-time loan closings. When is the last time your banker called you? If you are looking for a high level of service and a financial partner who will listen and respond, try First Western. For more information, visit them online at firstwestern.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
Hell is a big enough problem on its own. Good Thing Dent Source, LLC is on the job, specializing in auto hail repair from personal vehicles to large fleet. Dent Source, LLC makes customers smile, one vehicle at a time. High insurance deductible? No problem. Dent Source, LLC will pay your deductible. Need a loaner vehicle during repair? No problem. Dent Source, LLC has free loaner vehicles. Stop by 2820 South Zero Street, across from Play It Again Sports, or call 479-337-4443. That's 479-337-4443. Dent Source LLC, no problem.
Do you remember the joy you felt as a kid about pizza night? Remember how good it smelled? You could taste it even before you opened the box. And then that first bite. It was so good. Be the supper time savior. Order Jim's Razorback Pizza now. 434-3456. The best pizza in Fort Smith, or it's free.
Jim's Razorback Pizza. Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Well, I snuck to a window to leave her a note. Will you come meet me at the back of the grove? All the trees were in bloom, that sweet smell in the air. We were trembling together. We were young, we were scared, yeah. True love, hard to find. I can smell those orange blossoms. I can see us standing here. When I smell those orange blossoms, then I'm there.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Alyssa Orange time here on Halftime from Pig Trail Nation and a good friend of ours. We appreciate you, Alyssa. Have you made it back into Arkansas? Are you still out? In Virginia?
I am back in Fayetteville. Landed last night. And it was a great trip. I don't know if I could call it a vacation on trips like those where you're just seeing so many people and family, not a lot of time to relax, but enjoyed the time, and it's good to be back at home. Sleep in my own bed last night was really nice.
Yeah. Hey, so Arkansas football, and I think of the phrase "no news is good news." The news has been all about people leaving, like Barry Odom or Dowell Loggains or Trey Knox, or the guys that are headed to the NFL. We've only heard a little trickle. 3 players have committed to come to Arkansas. and no one's necessarily been blown away by that yet. We're going to hear from Sam Pittman on Friday. I think that's what fans need right now. They need to hear from the head coach.
I think you're absolutely right, and I think that right now what's happened, and it always happens in situations like this where there's not an opportunity to say anything from the Arkansas football staff and the head coach, that there's a lot of speculation, and so rumors get started on social media, and people are talking, and people are trying to figure things out, and no one really knows what's going on, and you're hearing this and you're hearing that, and maybe some players have said, I saw something on Twitter maybe yesterday on the way back about, Miles Slusher left and said things aren't what they seem. Maybe this is what he means. And it's like, guys, we really just don't know. And it seems daunting at the time where it feels like everyone is gone. But you do have to remember, Phil, like you said, they have had a few guys come in, but they're selective and they're patient. And you can't fault Dowell Loggains for going to be the offensive coordinator at South Carolina. It's a better job. You can't fault Trey Knox in making a decision to possibly follow, I'm not saying that at all, possibly follow his tight end coach, who he loves, to a school that, the wide receiver coach also happens to be the guy that recruited you out of high school. We don't know what's going to happen with that, but it seems logical that that could be an option. So it just feels like everything is this. Let Sam Pittman put some calm back into the situation. I say logic, but some perspective on what's happening. And it always feels like it's worse when it's the team that you cover or that you root for, right, Phil? Like, no one's paying attention to everyone else who's flipping over too in the country, but it's Arkansas and the world is falling apart.
Yeah, we lost our DC and losing Dow. Give us some good news. What do you think are some moves that are on the horizon for this football team?
Well, I think honestly, you look at Jacoby Criswell coming in, and I feel like that kind of scooted under the radar, but that's a really big position to get a guy like him who, related to Dre Greenlaw, to be a backup quarterback. That's the big thing that Arkansas has missed, truly, is a solid backup QB, and you hope Jacoby Criswell can be that. So I'm excited to see how he grows under KJ, what he blossoms into, and a guy that if KJ were to be out, and we've seen it the past couple of years, that there's going to be maybe a game where he can't play, a guy like Jacoby Criswell can come in. I love that. I think we're going to get another guy and a defensive coordinator who's going to be exciting and new and fresh. And if there's anything exciting about that, it's Arkansas fans and Barry Odom, who I will follow his career. I really appreciate the time I got to spend with him and cover him. But it's just something new and exciting, and that's always fun, too. What's he going to bring to the table? Who is it going to be? What is our defense going to look like? Who can he bring with him? So there's a lot of ways to look at what's happening and turn that into, okay, but how do we change our perspective and see, something new, something fresh? That can be fun.
And I wonder, anything that happens positively in the Liberty Bowl, I don't know if people, in their minds, take it into next season. Unless, Isaiah Satania has himself a nice game, and we haven't had, a chance to see him do very much. But it's it feels almost like at least publicly to people in their mind, the only things that can come out of the Liberty Bowl would be, gosh, if we lose, man, no one will take a win very seriously about it, I guess is what I mean. They take a loss a heck of a lot more seriously.
Yeah. Well, I think so. Just because, that's not the way you want to end things as we sit here and talk about everything that is happening with this Arkansas program. Then you turn around and you lose a bowl game. That's not going to be very fun, and that's not going to excite a fan base. I think you win that game, and it reminds the fan base, we lost a lot, I guess, depending on how you want to look at it. But we're still competitive. We still have talent on this roster. Don't give up on this Arkansas football team just because we've had departures. Look at what the future can look like. So if you're watching this game, and we talked about this last week, it's a dress rehearsal for a lot of these guys. It's an audition for so many players that are young on this roster. I would suggest approaching the bowl game as a way to see, let's look and see what the future could look like and some potential, like you mentioned, a guy like Isaiah Satenga having a big game or Quincy McAdoo. Like, how fun would it be if we see McAdoo play both ways a little bit? Like, that would be awesome. So kind of look at it through that lens a little bit.
Yeah, it's an opportunity, and keep it simple and let the kids fly around, and it's awesome, man. The bowl game should be, it's a reward. So and even though Liberty scares me because we lost to Liberty already, maybe we should have went to a different bowl. But no, we'll figure it out and be all right. I don't think we've gotten better. I think we've gotten worse in the last 3 weeks as far as losing some of our guys, and other teams are getting better. Yeah. So that's I mean, like you said, be patient, and we can get better.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. There is a point to where the roster is like, okay, well, what's going on here? And you see other talented guys going elsewhere. But patience is huge. And Sam knows what he needs to bring in, and maybe they're waiting to hire some replacements. And it's why they haven't gotten guys, as many guys out of the portal as they have, because they want to see who's going to be coaching them first, right? But I think you're absolutely right, Matt. I think it definitely looks at like, okay, well, Arkansas's roster right now is weak compared to maybe what Kansas is coming in. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, Kansas has had maybe one player.
They haven't been to a bowl game. What is that? 13 years, Phil? Is that what they were saying?
Yeah, they're going to be hyped up.
They're going to be ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of in the position that the Razorbacks were in last year, and maybe Arkansas is a little more in the position that Penn State was in last year. You know, it's like it's a bowl game, but it isn't necessarily like the one or the tier bowl game that the program expected to be at or wanted to be at. I mean, there is a feeling of a consolation to this. You know, it's something, but it's not what you wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can see that 100%. I think everyone wanted this team to be going somewhere warmer, which have meant more wins. And you look back and you can see the games where they could have had more wins, had one thing gone the other way. But it's just, I don't know, maybe I look at things sometimes through a different lens when it comes to stuff like this, to where, like, I don't want to soak in more negative than I have to. So trying to look at ways to make this a positive thing for the Razorbacks, like the extra practices and development that they can do with the guys that they have, and see what this team how they face this adversity off the field that they're enduring right now and will probably continue to endure once, everything is said and done and the dust settles before this bowl game. But I'm not a super doom and gloom person, so I understand how some people feel. I just don't want to look through it necessarily at that lens all the time.
And a little bit of basketball. I mean, we don't know what's going on with Texas. I don't know if they have a chance to still win the title. They have some talent, but they're a team ranked ahead of us. But you look at Arkansas, and I love our guards, Alyssa, Devo, Nick, Ricky, AB, and being able to play Jordan Walsh at the 4 spot. I think we're only going to get better. What are your thoughts on this Arkansas basketball team so far?
God, they're still so fun to watch, and they've got some things to iron out. I know it was a little bit of a slow start against Oklahoma, but then they really got it going. But we're seeing Nick Smith Jr. come along so quickly from coming back. Already named Freshman of the Week a couple of times, put up 21 points in 28 minutes, which is impressive. And he is going to be fun to watch. Even Anthony Black, though, only scoring, I think, 7 points or so against
I think he was
Oklahoma.
4 for 4. Yeah, he was very efficient.
But it was great. But he's such a force on the court that he brings attention to himself that allows those other guys to have the performances as he do. So maybe the stat sheet isn't as big for Anthony Black as it is, but he still has a presence that makes you pay attention to him. And Ricky Council playing 40 minutes against OU, that was crazy. So, and a lot of fun to watch. So they're just continuing to get better and better. And it's exciting to see. Man, these Little Rock games always make me nervous, though. They don't play very well when they go down to Little Rock, so I'm hoping that they can right the ship and play Bradley well on Saturday.
I think they'll be fine. I think Nick Smith returning into North Little Rock, Devo returning into North Little Rock. I think they're going to play well. The women's team has a really interesting trip coming up, too. And
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be tested. I mean, really tested. They have potentially three top 25 teams on their schedule over the next 3 games. You know, they got Creighton, which is a road game on Saturday. Creighton is tied for 16th in the nation with the team that Arkansas opens up in San Diego with. Oregon, they're 16th. They beat Oregon. They're probably playing against number 3 Ohio State. So, you know, they're undefeated, man. It's going to be tough to stay undefeated over the next 3 games.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, I mean, you remember when Mike Neighbors was worried about going to the Paradise Jam, saying, look, you go to these things, you could leave 0-3. Well, you can look at this trip, too, and you can go 0-3. I don't think that they will, but this is a really, really tall test for them and a great measuring stick to where this team is right now. They've been able to play and battle through a little bit of adversity through some of these games, but I think the most that they learned about themselves was in that win against Kansas State and that win against Clemson, where they were able to really make it known, like, hey, we're a solid team and people need to pay attention to us. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to seeing the elevation of play from Saylor Poffenberger. We've seen a lot from her. What is Jersey going to do? You've got Chrissy Carr, who still has that experience. She played on the West Coast for a little bit. So it'll be exciting to see what happens with this women's team. I don't think they leave undefeated. They'll lose to somebody, but I think it's going to be a good test for them. And how this team continues to evolve in the makeup of what they look like.
Yeah, I hope Saylor's shot comes around because it you know, she's played incredibly well as far as ball handling, defense, rebounding. And she's on the court probably about as more than anybody else because she's such a versatile player. The shot hasn't been falling just yet. She's got a pretty shot.
Yeah.
You can see the frustration on her face too. I'm just, you know, sooner or later you expect it to come around because that's her reputation is as somebody that can do it all and shoot from almost any angle.
Well, I think the good thing, Phil, right, is if we know anything, if you are a shooter, it'll eventually come back to you. It'll come back. It's like kind of being a hitter. If you go through a slump, it'll eventually come back. Something's going to break at 4 and she'll open it back up. But I remember a couple weeks ago being at the women's game on a Thursday, and it was against Troy when Chelsea Dungy was back and Saylor's mom was in town. And every time she put up a shot, her mom was like, Saylor! You know, hopefully we can see some of those shots fall for her. Her mom would be excited.
Alyssa, I have to do I got like 8 or 9 things I've got to wrap, you know, because Hanukkah starts on Sunday. I got to get this stuff taken care of tonight or tomorrow, and I got to do it when the kids aren't watching, and they're going to be here the next couple of nights. I'm not very good at wrapping gifts. Is this something that you have skill in?
I do like to wrap gifts, and I guess I can give you a pro tip. Saul has actually done it. He wraps it at work. I didn't know if there's a way you can wrap it somewhere else. He wraps the gifts at work and brings them home wrapped already. But the key that I could give you is crease the paper when you make the fold. It helps when if you're able to make a fold and then crease it, it'll hold it. So you're not like having to hold it and then try to hold something else and wish you had 4 arms trying to make wraps and tape and put everything in place.
Probably some good advice there. Crease the paper. It's very
Crease
helpful.
the paper.
Alyssa, thank you very much. We'll
guys,
revisit with you
good to
next
talk
week.
to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Alyssa.
Yeah.
2 things to always remember about in life now. 1, sweep the leg. 2, crease the paper. 3, there's 3 things. Show up on time. Half of life is showing up.
It's the catch me if you can line with Leo DiCaprio. When your mom writes you a note, what she do when she hands it to you, she creases it before she hands it to her. Make sure you crease it.
Well, if creasing the paper can help me not have to utilize an entire roll of Scotch tape for one gift that I'll wrap, then I would be very thankful for that. And by the way, my son's not listening to the show, so he's unaware. I did not buy him the hatchet for Hanukkah.
Say, how you wrapping a hatchet?
Well, his grandfather apparently has purchased him some sort of hatchet device. I don't even want to open the thing that's sitting in the room here. I'm frightened of it. 877-377-6963. Halftime is right back.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. For high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors and see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need to upgrade your construction equipment fleet? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website, WTEquip.com.
Hey, I got a question for you. You hate bending over to put on your shoes? Wish you could just put them on standing or sitting without ever having to touch them? If so, then I have the shoe for you. Introducing new hands-free Skechers Slip-ins. With new Skechers Slip-ins, you just step in and off you go. You don't even need to lace up. So how do Skechers Slip-ins work? Well, there's a special smooth comfort pillow in the heel that helps your foot slide right into place. So just step in them and go. Find new hands-free Skechers Slip-ins for the whole family at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Back out of Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Toys for Tots going on. Bring by your unwrapped new toy. Put it in our box. We certainly appreciate that. And, hey, while you're here, check out the selection in Dalton. You guys have some new trucks that are priced right. I mean, they're bargain basement priced right now, and they're brand new.
Yeah, we've got 5 to 7 extended cab brand new trucks that are listed for $5,000 to $7,000 under sticker price.
You know, that's unheard of. You look at the other dealers, they're like, yeah, number one, they don't have any new vehicles, but number two, when they are, they're priced way over sticker.
Yeah, and as along with that, we're running 3.9% on those trucks.
Absolutely loving that. Hey, no payment until after the first of the year?
90 days.
There you go, 90 days. Come by and see Dalton.
See Dalton.
There you go. Come by and see Dalton, one of my sales professional friends here at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Flu season is here, and Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith has flu shots available now to safely care for you and your family. Law's Drug Store still has COVID vaccinations and boosters available for ages 5 and up, as well as shingles, pneumonia, and whooping cough vaccines. Call 452-6116 to schedule your flu or vaccine shot appointment, or stop by Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue, behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store opens 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. If you're going to do some cold water bass fishing, you need to be using a Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. It's the best lure for duplicating a small school of shad and can be worked from the top of the water column to the bottom. Whether you're trying to win a bass tournament or whoop up on a bunch of white bass and stripers, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. will catch them. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr.
Need a career change? Unhappy with your current job? Want to get paid more and work less? Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric has the opportunity for you. Apply today at PascalCareers.com for our next HVAC maintenance training program. Pay starts day one and includes great benefits like our 4-day work week after completion. Plus, you'll learn valuable skills from some of the top techs in the industry. Classes start in January with job openings across the state. Apply today at PascalCareers.com.
Art's Barbecue and Burgers wants to help feed your family this holiday season. Have the pros at Art's smoke or deep fry your turkey or smoke your ham. Art's has affordable packages available for any size family or crowd. Or drop your turkey or ham off and Art's will take it from there. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, much more than their famous barbecue and burgers during the holiday season. From turkey to desserts, Art's Barbecue and Burgers, next to Buddy's on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Well, a 4-year investigation of Arizona basketball, and former Arizona head coach Sean Miller, now coaching at Xavier for the second time in his career, has come through, and Sean Miller will not face any sanctions in this infractions case that was figured out by the Independent Accountability Resolution process. This, of course, is all stemming from Emmanuel Book Richardson and the word to use here is a scheme, basically, paying money to players to steer them to certain programs, basically stuff that you can do now in the open.
Wasn't that Rick Pitino too, Phil, at Louisville? Didn't he go through some of that as well?
Pitino had a whole bunch of stuff.
Other
that
stuff,
came down
okay.
on him all at once. Absolutely, but there have been a bunch of other programs that were
Will he
kind
get
of
paid
entwined
then?
in this. Kansas, I don't know. Like that's a good
Get his
question.
money, yeah.
Remember, Kansas just they sanctioned their own coach for 4 games. Bill Self was put on a suspension, I guess you'd say it, for the first 4 games of the season from the very same situation in this case. But Miller was let go by Arizona at the end of or I think it was near the end of the 2021 season. It wasn't that he didn't have a successful program; it was that they were caught up in this scandal, and Miller always stunk to the claim that he did not knowingly violate NCAA rules, and then the process that the NCAA put forward, which I think is going to be ending pretty soon, comes through and says no, he didn't at all, did not, and this is a quote. He was facing the level 1 charge that he, quote, did not demonstrate that he promoted an atmosphere for compliance and monitored his staff within the basketball program. It turns out that he did. So pretty interesting. I wonder what comes from that. I don't know what the situation was with his money or if there was a buyout that was paid to him. But, he was dragged through the mud and ended up back at the place he'd coached previously. I don't know many more of the IARP cases are still out there because the whole thing is going away. Yeah, the Will Wade incident too. I guess that was a little different though with Wade because you had the actual receipts. I mean, you had the phone messages and everything. I don't think they had that with Sean Miller. So we'll see if anything comes from that. We were talking Nick Smith earlier in the show. Scotty Bordelon had a really good piece and whole hog about Smith and the things that stand out about him. I don't know if we've talked much, Matt, about his fieriness. He looks like a fiery kid. He's really smooth. Got that a beautiful jump shot, the ability to get to the rim, handles the ball wonderfully. I think he can D up well. We've barely seen him scratch the surface because it's only been 4 games. But one thing that Scotty did point out that you could tell when he was just sitting the bench waiting for that knee to heal to where they were at least going to let him get out there and play. And by the way, Muss did mention in the radio show Monday that the knee is fine. He'll be playing on Saturday against Bradley. He's a fiery kid, and I think this team as a whole just
they'll play anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want to play anywhere, yeah.
Well, they also just look like an intense group where that intensity will spill over a little bit.
Like they're having a good time. They're enjoying each other. They're confident. They have that swagger about them. They walk in. They're like they expect to win. Like they're not afraid. I guess is what is kind of what I see. They were tough, man. Oklahoma had a couple guys that were pretty good. I mean, they're Oklahoma, right? Like they should. And they didn't want anymore, man. They kind of you saw them towards the end, man. They just kind of like, I guess we're going to take an L this game.
Yeah, they were waiting for the victory, the basketball victory.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Another thing about this team is they're going to play intense. They're going to succeed, and then they're going to let the opponent know about it. It'll be really interesting to see this team on the road.
Are they too cocky, you think?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think that's a problem at all. I think that's the personality that they've taken. I think they're skilled enough to perform at a level and then emote maybe at that same level. And the coach is the same way. I mean,
It starts with him, right? Like he sets the tone and sets the example and has the intensity, and they follow his lead.
There were a lot of folks previously that would say, like, about Mike Anderson, he's just not fiery enough. And then some people are like, Eric Musselman is just too fiery and too intense. I guess you can't have it both ways, can you?
Coach Anderson's pretty fire. I don't know, man. I didn't play for Muss, but I got the chance to play with Coach Anderson, and yeah, he'll get on you. He just don't. He's not going to make any. Those coaches feel, and I don't think Musselman does that, but they try to embarrass you in front of everybody and try to really. Anderson was not that way. I don't think Musselman's that way either. But Anderson, no, he'll get on you. You'll know when he gets on you. Yeah.
Well, and what happens in front of the cameras in games, what happens at practice are completely different things.
Right.
But I think Muss is the same during games as he might be in practice at times. And I don't think you want to take that away from him. I mean, he's a great coach for other reasons that have nothing to do with intensity, but I think the intensity is a good thing. Is he going to get thrown out of a game at some point this year? Maybe so.
Probably. Maybe. It's okay. It's who he is, right? Yeah.
Hopefully the technicals don't lead to, the opponent getting the points they need for a comeback or anything.
And I think he's smart enough to know the moment and the time if he was to get thrown out of a game, something that's going on. I think he keeps his cool about him.
Haven't heard from Eduardo in Clarksville for a while. He's on hold here on halftime. Eduardo, how's the whistle doing? Because I haven't heard the whistle blow for a while.
I still got my whistle in my pocket. I always will. But the reason I'm calling in today, I'd like to touch on two things. You talk about Jacoby Criswell. I had an opportunity to meet the young man a couple years back. They came to Clarksville, and of course he threw all over the field that night. Athletic kid, and I had high hopes he would come to Arkansas. But I got to meet Dre. Dre was down there with, watching his brother play. I got to meet Dre, my pitcher, blowing a whistle with Dre. And but either way, the kid's athletic, and I think we're getting that backup that we need. And I think he'll do well here. He went to North Carolina. Obviously, got beat out, but that doesn't mean he's not a talented kid. The kid. I watched a kid throw a ball 90 yards on the money. For a touchdown. Like I said, they just tore Clarksville up that night. The game was over by second quarter, largely because of Mr. Criswell. And when you talk about, I also like to say, very sad to hear about Mike Leach. Certainly my heart goes out to the Bulldog family and the football program, but, he would be missed. But I watch his offense and his family personally. Never easy to lose loved ones. And one thing I found out, though, in life, heart's an awful big place. And so they'll always be in our hearts and minds. And so, I believe Coach Leach, but even if you wasn't a Bulldog fan or my Leach, he'll be in your hearts. And so he will be remembered, no doubt about that. But let's get to now. That's 2 weeks away. We're rolling in to Memphis, and I want to play this song, and I hope it's playing. And when I make that drive down, I've been there several times in Litterby, but I'm not coming down there. I don't want to hear, we ain't got this player or this. You know what I mean? I want to hear Florida Georgia line. Are we going to roll into Memphis and show the Jayhawks how we roll? And if they don't go down there with that mentality, 7-6 looks a lot better than 6-7, in my opinion. And so I wonder, we got play. I had so many come up to me yesterday, associates at the DC. What's going on in our program? Players leaving, coaches leaving. You know what I mean? And if we lose this game, if we go down there and lose this game, how much optimism we going into next year?
Eddie, it's
I'm
a good
hoping
point.
today.
Eddie, it's a good point. We're right up against
I want to get in the locker room. Somebody needs to fire some players up because if the culture is really changing, listen here, you're still wearing red and white. You're playing for this program, and there's an opportunity for some of these young players to step up. And if they don't step up and they lose this game, to me, you're not got a good start to the season to next year. And, we got to get the fire back in this program.
You got that right, Eddie. I appreciate the phone call, man. Maybe they need you in the locker room. I don't know. Maybe Sam Pittman can get them fired up. But he raises good points, and it answers a question I asked earlier in the show. You know, are you on to basketball? Are you on to football off season already? Do you care much about the Liberty Bowl? I think Eddie does. 7-6 is 6-7. That's quite different between the one win and the one loss. One more win, one more loss. Oh boy, yeah. You want more wins than losses. This is the chance to do it, and it's opportunities for the guys on the team to get out there and play one more game. We've got an opportunity to wrap up hour number 2 of halftime. That's next.
Shooting bullets at the moon, baby, this is how we roll.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Hardee's new Charbroil Double Deals, starting at $2.99 each, have the Academy for New Offerings hailing this double cheeseburger deal as very new indeed. How much more new does it get than the new Bacon Double Cheeseburger and the new California Classic Double Cheeseburger? Not much newer than that. Well, I've got news for the Academy. After this, I'm getting myself a double cheeseburger from this new deal. The new Charbroil Double Deal, starting at $2.99 each at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Tax not included for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Visit restaurant or app for details.
Ho, ho, ho. Who's your Santa, Fort Smith? Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, and I'm tired of bad Secret Santa gifts. So this year, I'm everyone's not-so-secret Santa. Bring me your old ride, and I'll give you up to $4,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value. That's a whole lot more for your trade. So this season, don't exchange gifts. Exchange your old ride for something nicer and newer from our huge selection of Rath road-ready vehicles, and you could get up to $4,000 more than it's worth. Keeping the car you have? Let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with a free winter-ready inspection, half-off brakes, and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Plus, check out our inflation-beating Meineke vehicle service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They make great stocking stuffers. So let me be your not-so-secret Santa, and you could get up to $4,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value for your old ride. Only at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Are you an experienced concrete finisher? Do you want to make the highest salary in the area? Do you want to get paid bonuses for your good work? Then Forsgren is for you. Apply now from any device, anytime, anywhere at GoForsgren.com. GoForsgren.com. Apply now at GoForsgren.com. Are you an experienced dump truck driver? Do you want to make the highest salary in the area? Do you want to get paid bonuses for your good work? Then Forsgren is for you. Apply now from any device, anytime, anywhere at GoForsgren.com. GoForsgren.com. Apply now at GoForsgren.com.
I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. From our family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Thank you for supporting our local small business and keeping your dollars here in the Arkansas River Valley. I'm grateful for the opportunity to help you with low flat fees and monthly payment plans. Call me today, 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot now through Christmas Eve at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Get your state sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle now through Christmas Eve at Harry Robinson. You'll save hundreds, even thousands with state sales tax paid. This does not apply to previously negotiated deals. State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot now through December 24th at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
I thought love was only true in fairy tales, meant for someone else but not for me. Love was out to get me, that's the way it saw her face. Now I'm a believer.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Quick segment to wrap up hour number 2. I've had this on the rundown for a couple of days. You guys see this thing about Johnny Knoxville? He is being sued for emotional distress by a repairman because of a prank. A gentleman who works for a freelance handyman app came over to repair an electric dimmer switch in Knoxville's home. When he began working on this dimmer switch, a lamp went out in the house, and then a 10-year-old girl comes out of nowhere accusing the repairman of killing her pony because the pony was on life support and the electricity had gone out. This repairman also claims that he was told that his car was going to be towed, so he became alarmed about the whole ordeal. He tried to call the cops. Another man came and told him he'd get in trouble for doing that because the vehicle had cocaine in it. And then the man pulls out a bag with white powder, which caused him to be horrified. Knoxville then says, hey, you're being pranked. We'll pay you to be a part of this. He said, no, thank you, and filed a lawsuit instead. I guess life is not necessarily supposed to be like Jackass the movie, is it?
They've had other issues too. The last movie they filmed, somebody really got injured on the crew.
Well, they want to have that belief that it's real, so they can't tell everybody about. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for me to be critical about it because I love watching it so much.
If it's so obnoxious, it just can't be too. Sometimes it gets too obnoxious, and you're like, dude, somebody needs to slap you in the face, though. Like they're just too. It's like I didn't wake up to do this today.
Also,
I'm tired.
The older I get, the less funny I think.
Exactly. We're not 19 doing keg stands. It's like get over it.
There's a limit to how much you can quote unquote punk somebody. Well, that's not what Johnny Knoxville likes to do. It's a whole other thing when they get involved in it. And hour number 3 of Halftime coming up. 877-377-6963. We will be right back.
Picture a can of paint. Now picture a professional painter. Now picture a can of paint from the paint store in Van Buren, perfectly applied by a professional or possibly you. Painting your house could be a pain, and people who think painting as a pain prefer professional paint and pointers from the paint store in Van Buren. The paint store has the best Richards paint and expertly picked colors specifically for you. Need a professional product or a professional? It's the paint store in Van Buren.
Frank Rowe Furniture December tax-free Christmas sale. Frank Rowe Furniture carries made in the USA furniture, including Catnapper, Jackson, and Best Home Furnishings, just to name a few. Frank Rowe Furniture also carries made in the USA Speed Queen washers and dryers. And December is the month to buy. They have slashed their prices more than ever before and no sales tax. Frank Rowe Furniture wants to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and celebrate our Savior, Jesus Christ. Frank Rowe Furniture, best seats in the house, 405 4th Street, Farley.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from The Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, The Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. Call The Fence Man and ask about 18-month same-as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Get by your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith and make it a double combo with the Jamie Foxx Fox on the Rocks box with Fridays big ribs and wings served with seasoned fries in one of our 2 new awesome sauces. The new Fox on the Rocks barbecue sauce made with BSB brown sugar bourbon flavored whiskey and whiskey glaze blaze. And now Fridays has $2 beer all day every day. So stop by your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 and Rogers in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we will see a decrease in the clouds today. Our temperatures this afternoon will be into the low to mid 50s with a possibility of just a few showers across the south. Now, tonight we're clear and colder, overnight lows, low 30s, and then sunny skies, highs of the 40s on Thursday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
Here we go. From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
Well, this town is a pigskin paradise.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
You both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I'm putting my heart up. Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3! Turn that down, Drew!
Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
And our last World Cup semifinal is underway right now. Red-clad Morocco, blue. Well, they are Les Bleus, right? France is known as Les Bleus.
Mm-hmm.
Do they always wear blue? I mean, are they the only
No,
one? I mean,
they got
do
a white.
Ever have to wear white?
Yeah, if they're the home team right here in Morocco, they wore white. I want to say when they played Portugal. No, Portugal was in white. Morocco looks just like Portugal colors. Like, I mean, if you just were glancing at it, you'd think that.
Well, I'm rooting for Morocco in this case. This is like David versus Goliath.
This one more so.
It feels like.
Yes, sir, Phil. When we were talking about the Croatia-Argentina game yesterday, and even though it was 3-0, this one right here is David and Goliath. 100 times out of 100, France should beat Morocco. That's just how it. That's just how That's just how it should go. So we'll see what happens.
There's an interesting dynamic on the France roster that I read about today. I don't know how many of them, but a number of their players are African-born, but migrated to France. And I mean, there's a whole big debate going on in that country, as far as other countries too, about who is a real Frenchman, right? And that some of the guys on the French team are not viewed by, I guess, some people who are born and raised in France as real Frenchmen, but they're going to play for the national team and be viewed as heroes.
I think they have a little bit of that. I've heard Paul Pogba talk about him and Antoine Griezmann being friends. One's black, one's white, and so I think they have a little bit of that over there in that culture. And those islands by France, a lot of those they kind of speak. They kind of have that, that. A lot of them will speak French, and then some of them they'll have dual citizenships at both places. And if they're not good enough to play for the France team, that's the team they go and play for.
I mean, think of where Morocco is located on the map. It's right there on the, at the northern, I would say tip, but North Africa, right there at the Straits of Gibraltar, across from Spain. They beat Spain on the way to the semifinals. They've been colonized over and over and over again by whatever European power, France included. And now they get a chance to play against their former colonizers. Did we feel that same way about America versus England? Maybe not so much, because those countries are now friendly.
I think about that is we'll give them soccer. They need something because we beat them at everything else. So Morocco doesn't have anything, so it's a little different. Situation.
Well, the Moroccan team is being treated as essentially like not just Africa's team.
They're Arab too,
but the entire
or Muslim,
Arab world.
Yep.
Is how they're being viewed. So I mean, it's kind of amazing to think of this one country now representing, in a sense, like literally billions of people. across
they kind of took over the host country. Like that's kind of what you're saying, Phil. You're exactly right.
Well, we do like underdogs, so I'm going to root for the underdog in this one. But it would be a pretty huge upset if it was huge upset for Morocco just to get where they are right now. A win over
I still don't know how they. It was
because sports, right?
Because sports. It's science, man.
But once you get into the Final Four, things I guess would imagine they turn a little more chalky. Argentina, I think, is the better team between them and Croatia.
Right, they
have potentially the best player in the world in Messi.
Mm-hmm.
So the final will be the last game he ever plays in the World Cup. So take that to college football and the Final Four. Yeah, Calvert asked a good question. Does that make Morocco like the NJIT of the baseball tournament when Arkansas hosted? I don't know if I view it that way, Calvert, because I'm not well, maybe so. Because remember, Arkansas every year, all right, France has already scored.
This game.
France just scored. Is that ball game,
this
Matt?
Game. Thanks for coming
We're
out.
almost 5 minutes into it.
That was it.
Yeah.
That's how much better France is, yeah.
Arkansas baseball fans, they adopt whatever team is coming from the Northeast for the baseball regional, whether it's been Central Connecticut or New Jersey Institute of Technology, and then they kind of root for that team.
Oh, that was homie on
his
his fantasy team. Phil scored a goal. Remember what I was like? Why they got the defensive guy? Yeah, that sent it in. He scored the first goal. How cool! Yeah, good
Greg.
for him.
You're texting to us and making sure that you set the right fantasy sports lineup for the World Cup. You just got yourself maybe a win from whomever it is that you're playing
against.
That's awesome. See, we are your source for fantasy soccer information here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com, as well as also being, your place for hit music and for phone calls and texts. 877-377-6963. David in Fayetteville is giving us a call. Hi, David. Thanks for the call. What's up?
Hey, I was going to drop a little tidbit of information. I didn't think maybe y'all didn't know, but after America declared, after the Declaration of Independence, Morocco was the first country on this planet to recognize the United States.
Oh, that's cool.
That I wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
That's a good piece of world history.
Yeah, then, they've always had as far as the Arab world goes, they've always had a friendly relationship with the United States. They had the Casablanca Conference, with Putin, Stalin, and Churchill, and Roosevelt. Then you had, the war during the War on Terror. I mean, a lot of Muslim countries that claimed they were trying to help the United States wasn't, but I guarantee you, Morocco actively pursued the Taliban in Morocco. I mean, they kept that country, where you could go to it, even in the middle of the War on Terror.
David, that's really good information here, and I appreciate your phone call. And it's awfully rare that we've ever spoken about geopolitics here on Halftime or any sports station in the state.
I'm pulling for them just for that reason.
I was going to say it's more reason to root for the Moroccan African Republic.
Yeah, I mean they was diplomatically they've always had a special relationship with the United States. But I know I didn't know that till a few years ago, but it's true.
It's good stuff, David. Appreciate that, and thank you for that phone call. See, we've got more reason.
I like it.
We have the
Yeah.
smartest listeners around. I always say that.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
you guys
terrific.
hear me say that all the time, right?
You do say that all the time, Maddie. But they're going to need all of our emotion and all of our thoughts here, because if you give up the first goal of the game 5 minutes into the previous World Cup champions, things might not be going the way you were thinking they might.
This like the Olympic basketball team for America. I mean, they literally have three of their best players. You take off Mbappe, their best three players aren't even playing for France. Wild. Benzema, Conte, and Pogba. They're not even there, and they're still doing this.
I know they didn't reseed them once they got into a Final Four, but I mean it doesn't feel like a foregone conclusion. You're going to have Georgia and Michigan in the national championship.
Man,
game.
I hope so, Phil. Like, I know people were talking about the game last year. Was it that when they or was it 2 years ago? I mean, that they just kind of walked over them, and you remember when Alabama did that to Notre Dame, and everybody kind of had that feeling a little bit. I don't think it's going to happen that way this year. That's like, I hope that's the way it goes, because I think Michigan, they're tough, and I mean, if you're going to beat Georgia, man, you're going to have to punch them back. That's the only way. I mean, they're going to have speed and stuff, but you can't. Georgia's not soft, so if you're going to beat Georgia, you better be ready for a fight.
Love the idea of the Michigan run game trying to do something against the Georgia run defense. That would be a heck of a lot of fun to watch. And, the semifinal games normally are not very close. And there's like a feeling that could be the case here again. You see Ohio State, they're down their second leading rusher for the first semifinal. That's Travion Henderson, I believe is his name. Or the kid who backed him up 2 weeks ago, he ran like 27 times, over 100 yards. So they've got plenty of running backs back there. I just don't know if Ohio State's defense can really slow down the Georgia offense. I doubt that they can. All right, we're going to get into some of that stuff and more with Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio after a break. Bill has had a busy day. Today was his commitments show, which is something that they used to do when the signing period was in February. It's obviously the early signing period has taken over, so we moved it up. A 5-hour radio show for Bill King, and he still agreed to give us about 10 minutes of his time. So that's next on Halftime.
The night's magic seemed to whisper and hey, the soft moonlight seems to shine in your blush. Can I just have one more morning dance with you? My love, can I just make some more?
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Get the best value, service, and TV locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Stop in and ask us about the Hopper 3, Dish's most advanced DVR that delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recordings anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now. WOW World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or online at shopwownow.com. World of Wireless is located at 601 Church Street in Barling next to Frank Rowe Furniture. That's 601 Church Street in Barling. Come see us at our new location.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
Hi, this is Ricky Smith, head basketball coach for the Northside Lady Bears. I dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
This is Northside head basketball coach Eric Burnett. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Take advantage of York Factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products.
782-8940.
Looking for a new ATV? Then you sure don't want to miss the 1+1 sale going on at Auto Finders and Adventure Oklahoma in Roland. Buy a new 2022 CF Moto during their 1+1 ATV sales event and receive a free 2-year warranty that includes a 1-year factory and 1-year CF Moto Care extended protection. See Auto Finders and Adventure Oklahoma in Roland or view a complete list of inventories online at AutoFindersOK.com, where your search ends and adventure begins. Offer does not include Gen 2 C-Force 400 and 500 models.
Get by your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith and make it a double combo with the Jamie Foxx Fox on the Rocks box with Friday's big ribs and wings served with seasoned fries in one of our 2 new awesome sauces. The new Fox on the Rocks barbecue sauce made with BSB brown sugar bourbon flavored whiskey and whiskey glaze blaze. And now Fridays has $2 beer all day every day. So stop by your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 and Rogers in Fort Smith.
Hell is a big enough problem on its own. Good Thing Dent Source LLC is on the job, specializing in auto hail repair from personal vehicles to large fleet. Dent Source LLC makes customers smile, one vehicle at a time. High insurance deductible? No problem. Dent Source LLC will pay your deductible. Need a loaner vehicle during repair? No problem. Dent Source LLC has free loaner vehicles. Stop by 2820 South Zero Street across from Play It Again Sports or call 479-337-4443. That's 479-337-4443. Dent Source LLC, no problem.
Away in a manger, no crib for a bed.
Guardtronic would like to take this time to wish our customers a Merry Christmas. With this being the busiest time of the year, we'd like to remind you to slow down and spend time with family and remember what this time of the year truly represents, the birth of Jesus. Join Guardtronic as we take this season to worship the King. License E50.
A little Lord Jesus asleep.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey! Tell us about the boy from New York City. Come on, kitty. Tell us about the boy from New York City.
He's kinda tall. He's really fine. Someday I hope to make him mine, oh mine. And he's neat and oh so sweet. And just the way he looked at me swept me off my feet. Ooh-wee, you ought to come and see how he walks.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Playing the boy from New York City, not because Bill King is from New York. He's not. He lives right outside Nashville. But that song performed by the Manhattan Transfer. And transfers are an overarching theme across college football these days. And we always appreciate your time, especially on Commitments Day, Bill. My gosh, I listened to Commitments for a while this morning. You're usually doing a 3-hour show, 5 hours, and yet you're still coming on halftime today, man. You're putting in some extra time.
That would be like asking Matt Jones back in his playing days, next game's going to be 7 quarters. You just got to do it.
Let's go get it, right? Let's go. Who we playing? Yeah.
I don't know. He's done it before, you know. The guy knows what it's like to play 6 or 7 overtimes.
Right.
So your show is fun to listen to, but Commitments is different. You're at the Omni Hotel in Nashville, and like you have listeners that are traveling to Nashville to be part of this event and go on the air with you. I mean, this is unique, I think, as far as really, I think sports radio is concerned almost anywhere.
New York City, Los Angeles, Minneapolis, South Florida. One guy from New Zealand. Now, he moved here, but technically a guy from New Zealand.
That's amazing.
That's wild.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
How much? Well, and I didn't hear earlier in the morning. I'm sure you spoke quite a bit about Mike Leach, and I know you did radio with him. You know, had a relationship with Mike Leach. We've talked with you about him quite a bit. You know, when he joined the SEC at Mississippi State and everything. You know, I mean, we've heard so many heartfelt stories, you know, not just about how funny he was, but the influence that he had upon individuals and then upon the sport of college football. And it's been amazing to see this outpouring of these last couple of days. And I know for you, it had to be awfully difficult too, because I know you knew him personally.
Yeah, and privately, everybody knew Sunday. When he had his heart attack, it was over. He lost oxygen to his brain for about 10 minutes. and they actually had to revive him, but he had no brain function. And so the only thing left then was the family, and to make sure that they were there for him at that hospital in Jackson, and then make the decision to discontinue the life support. And that was the process. And obviously they wanted things private, and I thought it was relatively private, most of it. Yeah, it's a sad story, man. 61. I did not realize he had been struggling with pneumonia like he apparently was. I did not know that. I saw people would comment about he's coughing unusually a lot during games. And I think he had been probably a little bit more sick than any of us do.
Now, remind me when the two of you did radio together, and what was he like, as a, I mean, you'd say like as a radio personality, but I just think he was just a personality wherever he went, whether he was just talking one-on-one with somebody or in front of the media or everything. What was that? What was that? When did that happen when you and he worked together?
He was on my same channel when everything blew up at Texas Tech, and he came to Sirius XM, and he co-hosted the show after mine with Jackaroo. It was a midday show, and it came on after the morning show that I did. Actually, it was a show after my show. And so when we would travel to championship games, Fiesta Bowl, Miami, New Orleans, L.A., wherever, we'd be together. So I'd done some random shows with him, but he wasn't on my show. He was on Jackaroo's show. And I got to know him that way. And just to sit down and hear him talk about, he never got over Texas Tech. And to this day, they owe him money. And Mike Leach is that eccentric guy that you get to see on Mike. He's also a very complicated guy. And he's a guy that holds a grudge. Mike Leach does not get over stuff. And to this day, before his death, if you brought up Texas Tech, he literally go into an expletive tirade and was never going to get over it. And here's the other thing. The Mike Leach, and I love Mike, but the Mike Leach you see on Mike behind the scenes isn't the Mike Leach who's coaching. Mike Leach is a tough, brutal at times with his football team. That kid, that running back that transferred a week ago, tweeted, "Hey, Leach told me I'm soft, so I'm leaving." That was the starting running back. Mike Leach, if he's unhappy, the players, he's rough. He's rough. Do you see that game a couple of weeks ago where he started folding up the chairs for the wide receivers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, Mike Leach is a very interesting dude. He's got a lot of different levels of his personality, and I enjoyed him. I mean, I liked him.
Yeah, he was honest to a fault, I think. Some of those kids, Coach Nutt was telling me, you kind of recruit these kids and you kind of got to de-recruit them a little bit, and it's tough, especially when they're getting in there. But man, I just look at his fingerprints all over college football right now, and USC, Tennessee, some of his people. I think that's kind of how he'll be remembered, that air raid style. But that he has a lot of coaches out there that worked with him that are having a lot of success.
I first heard of him in around 2000.
Yeah, the How Mummy.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Kentucky fired Bill Curry, who was using Tim Couch at times in a triple option, which is just, I mean, you can't even get your hands on that.
It's funny to think
right?
about.
I mean, yeah, and so
be like Troy Aikman running a triple option. Yeah,
correct. So they hire Hal Mummy, and Tim Couch is going to transfer to Tennessee. He wanted to go to Tennessee out of high school, and his dad talked him into going to the state youth school. First year was miserable there. He never heard of Hal Mummy. He never heard of Valdosta State, where he and Coach Leach were. They get there, and he agrees to meet with Mummy, and he tells Mummy that he's probably going to transfer. Mummy says, "You're my quarterback. I haven't even seen you yet. I know about your reputation, but I haven't even seen you. I'm telling you, you're my starting quarterback. We're going to throw it 50 times a game, and it's going to be your right arm." And again, that was the beginning of Mike Leach. Now, Mike Leach immediately got hired right in there to join Stoops at Oklahoma. And that's when his kind of star took off as an individual.
Yeah, they won a national title that year, didn't they? Beat Florida State. Yes, sir.
Mark Mangino and him were kind of together as the co-coordinators on that team.
Wow, yeah. And now, I mean, it's just funny you're saying triple option for a major college football program. Like, that doesn't happen anymore. And one of the reasons is because is because of the air raid.
You don't have Tommy Frazier. Tim Couch.
Correct. I mean, Tim Couch coming out was supposed to be the next Peyton Manning. But probably Manning's never been known as a guy with a cannon for an arm, but he's obviously one of the best ever. This kid, just the same size, big arm, just not as good. As Peyton. Yeah. It's not quite as good.
I wanted to ask you about some of the coordinator hires in the SEC in the last few days, and then the rumor about a possible relationship, professional working relationship with Jimbo Fisher and Bobby Petrino. So let me just start there. Like, I can't imagine a world where those two egos can coexist working for the same team. And honestly, I don't think I can imagine a world where Bobby Petrino is working for another head football coach. Certainly not Correct. Jimbo Fisher. What did you think when you saw that this is a possibility?
Two alpha males, one the boss of another, one used to being the head guy, both successful. And you could say Petrino has backstabbing in his past. Remember Jetgate at Auburn? I mean, there's a lot of Tom Tuberville. That's another good conversation. Just sit down with him sometime and ask him, just give me 5 minutes on Bob Petrino. And it sounds like Leach talking about Texas Tech is exactly what it sounds like. I'm not kidding. It is interesting, to say the least. Can't stand him. Anyways, I don't know that two big, 2,000-pound bulls can exist in the same little arena, right? And that one made no sense. Now, Bob Petrino's a hell of a ball coach when he's right, and he's a hell of an offensive mind, too. I mean, he's fantastic. I would think that if Petrino took that job, and I'm sure he wouldn't admit this, the whole feeling is if Jimbo fails, maybe I get it. That's the only reason.
Well, and so let me ask about Auburn then. And they bring in Philip Montgomery to run the offense, Roberts running the defense, and there were reports that Arkansas was interested in Roberts to be the defensive coordinator here, and that he chose to work for Freeze at Auburn. I wonder if that's also a thought that, when you're joining a new coaching staff, there's, you get that buffer period of like time to create your own program instead of joining a team at Arkansas where the head coach is in his fourth year and the expectations might be, a little bit different. I just wonder what you made of that hire and the fact that the defensive coordinator job at Arkansas is still open.
Well, and maybe it's a fresh canvas to paint on at Auburn. That might have something to it too. I mean, Arkansas, they need a guy, but I mean, we already kind of know what the blueprint's going to be. It's from the head coach down, right? And that's a good blueprint for them. But the Auburn job is a fresh canvas to paint on. Obviously, at a very low level right now, and maybe I don't know the coach. Those two coordinators I do not personally know, so I can only guess. But that's probably and obviously Auburn can pay as well as anybody. That's not a problem.
When you make a Dowell Loggains at South Carolina, we all here thought that maybe Loggains would be the offensive coordinator in waiting whenever Kendall Briles moved on. But Briles didn't move on, and he's overqualified as a tight ends coach. And I mean, truthfully, a combination of Shane Beamer as a head coach, Dowell Loggains as an offensive coordinator is pretty good. It's pretty darn good there.
If Spencer Rattler is right, I agree. Now, down the stretch, he played well. For the most part, he has not played well, including his last year at Oklahoma and including last year at South Carolina and a lot of this year at South Carolina. But down the stretch, the Tennessee game and the Clemson game, when they beat two top 10 teams, he played very well. He played outstanding. If that's the guy you're getting, then it could be interesting.
Yeah, Dowell's just as much as X's O's as anybody, but he knows how to talk to the players, man. He's that Jeff Fisher, John Fox guy, man. That's a great move for everybody involved. I mean, selfishly, I'd like to see him at Arkansas, but it's a great move for him.
Sure, absolutely.
Oh, Bill, this transfer portal is so tough to get my mind wrapped around right now. And maybe part of it is that Arkansas is just losing players instead of bringing them in just yet. I mean, what do we got over 1,000 players in the portal now? Something's got to change as far. You think it's over 1,000?
I saw some stuff. I think it's 1,000 plus. But if you include all levels, FCS, FBS, D2, D3, I think it's 4,000.
That's amazing. That is simply amazing. You know, there's not that many jobs out there. What needs to be fixed? Top of the list do you need to move? You need to move early signing period even earlier than it's been before, maybe to before the season. NCAA's got to fix something about NIL. We've got coaches, openly talking about their roster being poached by other programs that are offering NIL money. And so it was the Washington State coach said, we've got coaches actually calling our players and offering them money to jump to them. I don't know how you fix that, though. I really don't know, how you can fix the problems with NIL. I mean, that's for somebody that's smarter than me, but that feels like that would probably be top of the list.
Yeah, they tightened the windows up. I mean, that's, rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, right? I mean, what difference does it make? I do think it was a good idea to tighten that window up. It doesn't matter. I mean, think about it. It really doesn't matter. You can announce you're transferring just because you're not ready to be in the portal. It's not time to be in the portal. You can still say, I'm out of here. And when it's time, everybody already knows. But the problem we have, and I don't really know what the fix is, because I think once the genie's out of the bottle, and metaphorically speaking, genies don't go back in the bottle once they come out, right? And here's the other item. The NCAA is showing no indication they care. So I don't think there's a fix, at least now that the genie's out. And I don't think that the people who are supposed to be overseeing everything give a rip either. That's the problem. And I think we're stuck with it. I got to admit, it's terrible for the game, but I have to admit it's fun to see where different guys are going, and then you're thinking about the impact they may or may not make. I got to admit, in a segmented way, that's been fun.
You've come around on that. You have come around on that. There's no doubt.
I have. A little bit, yeah.
I wonder for the fans. It's just tough, man. When basketball did that 20 years ago, college basketball, it just seemed like the casual fan. I guess, but like what you're saying, they're not really worried about the casual fan. They're making too much money. They don't care.
Well, that and 12 teams, there's going to be billions more in revenue with the playoffs. And, I mean, that's all this touchy-feely academic and being a good guy. None of that matters. None of that matters at all in that world. Probably, you know what? It probably hadn't for a long time, but it's gotten worse. And I get it. I mean, I guess if I was a CEO and I'm running college football or something, and I got a chance to make billions on a new contract, I'm getting paid to do that, right? I'd probably have to do it.
Yeah, if that's your job, then that's exactly what you got to do. Bill, congratulations on a successful commitment. We appreciate you hopping on with us on a long day.
Boys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Bill.
And Bill King, Nashville Sports Radio.
He's the man.
WNSO.
He's good.
He is really good. You know what else is good? The Bet Saracen app. Get it on your phone, Apple App Store, Google Play. Bet Saracen is the place where you get the best odds and the most accurate and up-to-date sports wagering information anywhere in the state of Arkansas. You see the Vegas odds, you can't bet those odds unless you're in Las Vegas, and Arkansas law won't let you use any of the other big national apps inside the state of Arkansas. So you got to have Bet Saracen on your
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. Bet online, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Sometimes wounds just don't heal, and when they don't, reach out to the Tulsa Wound Center. They provide chronic wound care using all the latest technologies such as hyperbaric oxygen therapy, shockwave therapy, skin substitutes, and more. When it comes to life and limb, experience matters. Make sure you are being seen and treated by an experienced and certified wound physician. Founder and medical director Dr. Lam Lee has been a prominent wound care and hyperbaric physician for over 15 years. 10,000 patients can't be wrong. Online at TulsaWoundCenter.com or call 918-561-6661.
Searching for the best UTV on the market but can't find it with any of the big name brands? That's where the Intimidator comes in. An American brand using American-made steel and built in Arkansas. Intimidator UTVs offer premium components as standard, unlike those other companies. Items such as doors, skid plates, heavy-duty frames, and comfortable seating, all at one comparable price. See why Intimidator UTVs are the best choice by visiting your local dealer, Horns Outdoor in Hot Springs, or visit hornsoutdoor.net.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
Nothing runs like a deer because nothing's built like one.
No House Advantage is changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend, Matt Jones.
You just heard the phone number. David has taken the opportunity to give us a phone call on halftime. David, appreciate you, man. What's up?
Well, guys, I just want to throw this out to you. You know how back in the day when you transferred, you had to sit out a year? What if you had to sit out a year for NIL and not allow, people to bribe you with money to come play for them?
Well, I mean, it's they're going to have to show proof of that's the reason why you went there. And any player that, anybody that's eligible to play college sports is eligible for NIL. I'm not sure how, I'm not sure how you can do what it is that you're trying to push. I understand.
You got to have, be on track to graduate. There's just a couple of rules and guidelines I think that they need to put on there that I think it's just the wild, wild west right now, and they need to kind of sort it out.
Yeah, because it's not even like free agency in the professional sports.
If your coach doesn't leave, you should be able to transfer.
There's no contracts whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I think they should be compensated somehow, but I'm not a fan of whatever's going on right now. This is ridiculous.
Well, you get a
what
situation
would you think
too,
about instead of NIL, taking the money from all of the collegiate licensing and all of the collegiate licensing for EA Sports, the NCAA game, putting that in a pool for the athletes rather than doing NIL?
I don't think they're going to put the ketchup back in the bottle. I think, yeah.
That's exactly right. And I think they're doing that too. Like when EA Sports comes out with their new NCAA football and however long it is, I guess they'll have all the teams in there and image and likeness of each of the players. And so that goes into a pot. And I don't know if it gets distributed evenly, but I think that's exactly what you're describing there. And it's the same thing that Bill said. It's just what Matt said too. It's like you can't once Pandora's out of the box, you can't stuff her back in. It's just the toothpaste, the ketchup, whichever it is you want to say. It's tough to jam back in the container. It's too late for that.
It's 20-year-old scotch. You think I'm going to pour it back in the bottle?
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thanks for the phone call. To you too. 877-377-6963. See the story out of Scorebook Live. Steve Andrews writes this story about a kid named C.J. Turner. He's one of the top high school football players in the state of Arkansas. He's at Star City. Had a scholarship offer from Colorado, and Deion Sanders rescinded the scholarship offer. A day after, apparently, the athletic director from Colorado contacted the kid and said, you still have the scholarship. And then he hears the next day that they're taking the scholarship offer away, and they said they're going to get him. We're going to find a replacement in the portal. Here's one of the weirdest aspects about it.
Well, had he committed, Phil?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he had committed and I guess was ready to sign and everything. He had even chosen Colorado over Jackson State, where Deion was coaching before.
Oh, yeah.
He was good enough to play for him at Jackson, but not good enough to play for him at Colorado. Very interesting.
That's weird.
Well, you're in a position now where it's like Arkansas wasn't one of the schools that had offered him when I read the story. But right now Arkansas is full. They have their commits. Unless somebody decommits, we'll see what happens. But they already most of these school scholarships are spoken for.
Well, he said he's bringing Louis, and so if you're at Jackson State or if you're at Colorado, you're probably about the same type of talent right now. If you're going 1-11, you probably could play in Jackson State's division. But he's bringing his guys. He said he's got his guys. So if you're not good enough, get out the way.
That's amazing to hear from the athletic director. Rick George, the athletic director of Colorado, had called him. He had called C.J. Stroud to confirm that they were going to honor his pledge and honor the scholarship. 24 hours later, the deal's off. Quote from Turner, they just called me and told me straight up they're going to take another guy out of the portal. It was tough to find that out. Boy, I bet it was.
Where's he going then? What other offers does he have? Because obviously he's good enough and he's going to go somewhere. It's just kind of like your first choice school, you kind of get denied, and so now you got to go somewhere else. It'd be the best decision he ever made to go somewhere else where he's wanted.
Matt, the story says that he also had offers from Arkansas State, Kansas, Memphis, Tulane, and Jackson State, and he's been in discussions with Bowling Green right now. Wow.
I wish the best for him, yeah.
Absolutely. It's just a tough thing, man. I mean, signing period starts next week, and he's got to find a new school. Pretty talented kid, apparently. He's he's an athlete, plays both sides of the ball. The story thinks that he's more of a safety or a linebacker at the college level.
Well, come on up to Arkansas then. Look, we need some guys that can tackle and some athletes that want to play. I mean, come on. I don't have the authority.
That's what you were saying. I mean,
but I like
athlete.
it.
Yeah, about athlete, put him on the defensive side.
We might be missing one out there. Sam Pittman, guys get out there and get somebody that wants to be there and wants to make some tackles. He sounds hungry to me. I like him.
Joel in Fort Smith, thanks for the phone call. You're on halftime. What's up?
Well, I heard the other caller talking about NIL and, trying to regulate it. Now, am I wrong? NIL is not from the school or from the boosters. That's supposedly private companies offering money to buy a service, to buy this.
Yeah, but it's changed.
The collectives,
right? The collectives have changed that. That's essentially, it's a different form of boosterism. I mean, you have collectives that take donations from fans, and then they can turn that into, just flat out money given to players for, for this or that. I don't know if I'd call it like a no-show job, but it's a collective that's taking money in from whatever source. It can be a business. It can be just a regular old person, and they want to give $5, $10 to the collective. So I think those collectives changed the idea of what name, image, and likeness originally was supposed to be about, which I thought was, companies, businesses spending money on well-known college athletes to advocate for them, and they get paid for that, just like a regular person would. This collective situation is totally different. I don't know another situation that's like that, in the real world.
Okay, so what I'm saying is give it a couple more years like what's happening at A&M, where they shelled out a lot of money and saw no return on investment, and I think the NIL will correct itself. They're going to probably start having contracts where I'm going to give you this NIL, but you have to fulfill this part of the contract. And they can do that as a private company instead of a school. So I think that what we're seeing right now, the NIL will correct itself. Because
if you transfer, you got to give the money back, right? Something like that, yeah.
Exactly. Or they have to stay, or they can't transfer, or they have to, some other clause in the contract, when the kid signs it, you get this money if you do this. Not pay for performance, but pay for the duration of that contract. And I think that's going to correct it. It may take another year or two, but that's what I loved about A&M shelling out all that money. I think it's going to do a benchmark, and a lot of people are going to be once bitten, twice shy. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it. Thanks for the phone call. Yeah, hopefully the market corrects itself like a free market is supposed to. I do think that some of these, if not most of them, the NIL deals, you can write into your deal with an athlete that if they transfer away, if they're no longer part of A&M in that case, then they don't get paid any longer by your collective or by your company. I don't know if you give all the money back, if you played X amount of games, but you're certainly not going to be making money from them moving forward. And we appreciate all of your thoughts on that. 877-377-6963. Hey, guys, tell me real quick, what Fish City Grill bring you today? I'm looking at some food here. I ate while you guys are waiting on the food, so I don't hate you today.
So, Phil, I sent you that picture, and they were nice enough to bring that grilled cheese that I love so much that has shrimp and lobster in it. It's about the craziest thing you've ever tasted.
I think
you haven't tasted it, but you know what I mean.
They crush it every time, Phil. Yeah, you're missing out, man.
Oh, it's all right. I got some leftover fried rice with some shrimp in there. It's okay, but it's probably a little better what you guys are eating from Fish City Grill. Gift cards bounce back at Fish City Grill. Every $25 that you spend, you get $5 more, a bounce back coupon on your gift card. That's from Fish City Grill at their Fort Smith and Rogers locations. Going to wrap up this Wednesday halftime after a quick break.
How rock and roll looks till you caught your sister with the guys from the groove. Halfway home in the parking lot, by the look in her eye, she was giving what she got. Said, my, I'm once bitten, twice shy, babe. My, I'm once bitten, twice shy, baby.
Ho, 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 ho! Who's your Santa, Fort Smith? Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, and I'm tired of bad secret Santa gifts. So this year, I'm everyone's not-so-secret Santa. Bring me your old ride, and I'll give you up to $4,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value. That's a whole lot more for your trade. So this season, don't exchange gifts. Exchange your old ride for something nicer and newer from our huge selection of Rath road-ready vehicles, and you could get up to $4,000 more than it's worth. Keeping the car you have? Let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with a free winter-ready inspection. Half off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Plus, check out our inflation-beating Meineke vehicle service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They make great stocking stuffers. So let me be your not-so-secret Santa, and you could get up to $4,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value for your old ride. Only at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
The Big Ten is up and filled with lots of Christmas gift savings at Jelco Outdoors. Hunting ground blinds, 20% off. Earth box blinds, $250 off. Fishing rods and reels, 20 to 50% off. Cowboy boots by Nakona, Tony Lama, Justin, Twisted X, and just arrived R. Watson boots, 25% off. And casual clothing, save up to 50% off. Don't miss the Big Tent sale at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Shop local, shop Jelco Outdoors.
Make today more interesting with Betly's online sports betting action. You can bet on pro and college games with Betly, the only online sports book in Arkansas and Tennessee. And right now, every new customer can cash in on a $250 risk-free first bet. Download the Betly Sportsbook app now in the Apple and Google Play Store or visit Betly.com. With Betly, every game matters. Must be 21 or older and located in Arkansas or Tennessee to bet. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Need a career change? Unhappy with your current job? Want to get paid more and work less? Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric has the opportunity for you. Apply today at PascalCareers.com for our next HVAC maintenance training program. Pay starts day one and includes great benefits like our 4-day work week after completion. Plus, you'll learn valuable skills from some of the top techs in the industry. Classes start in January with job openings across the state. Apply today at PascalCareers.com.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Building a home can be stressful. This is true whether you're the homeowner or the contractor. Many times these issues result in a lawsuit. If you are a homeowner or a contractor and find yourself needing legal help, call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partner. With experience representing homeowners as well as non-payment or other issues that could arise during construction. Contact Brad Hull or Kevin Hickey at 479-434-2414 in the River Valley or 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas. Or check them out at the web at artriallawyers.com.
State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot now through Christmas Eve at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Get your state sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle now through Christmas Eve at Harry Robinson. You'll save hundreds, even thousands with state sales tax paid. This does not apply to previously negotiated deals. State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot now through December 24th at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey! Well, it's all right. Riding around in the breeze. Well, it's all right. If you live the life you please, well, it's all right. Doing the best you can, well, it's all right. As long as you lend a hand.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
It's really funny here because ESPN had a transfer tracker that they gave up on 6 days ago.
It's like me and my fantasy baseball team. I just gave up on it. Yeah,
they gave up on it. Last entries on the ESPN College Football Transfer Board came on December the 8th. 24/7 Sports has a good one. And the last time I looked, they have Trey Knox as a crystal ball prediction, 100% going to South Carolina. Makes sense.
Yeah, right.
Makes sense. Yeah. Justin Stepp is there. Dowell Loggains is there. It would make a heck of a lot of sense. Let's take Bob's phone call here as we wrap halftime up. Hi, Bob. Thanks for the phone call. What's up?
Hey, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Yo.
We're almost done with the day. Couldn't be any better.
No joke. Hey, I wanted to shed a little light on this NIL and the collective pots that are happening in college sports. We live in Fayetteville. My son actually plays for Liberty University. I can say that was a pretty fun weekend. He's a redshirt freshman linebacker there. And we watch his bank account during the weekly just to make sure he has money. And he'll get deposits directly from the university, $200 to $400 a month, just for whatever, for being on the team. It completely changes the narrative. As a parent, we're really excited about seeing that money going into his account. But, you know, we ask him, we're like, where's that money coming from? And he has no idea where it comes from. It just comes from the collective and people putting money in. So if you got at a Liberty University, imagine what the pot is at every other large SEC school or similar programs around the college football. I mean, it is incredible.
Bob, I think we're losing your cell phone signal there, but you've made a pretty good point, and appreciate your phone call. Yeah, I mean, it's
like Joshua Jackson and Paul Walker and Skull and Bones. He just walks up to the ATM. He's like, oh, hey, yeah, what's this Jaguar doing out here? What's this Corvette doing out here? Yeah, where'd this stuff come from?
Where did all this come from? It's like manna from the heavens. Well, at least it's money that Bob does not have to put into his son's bank account, because that's I was telling you about. I couldn't wake up for my 8 o'clock class.
Imagine if you had $400 in your bank account, then you're definitely not waking up. I mean, in $400 in your bank account in college, you do whatever you want.
Yeah, something tells me though, but you still have to keep up your grades, right? You still have to be on the team. There are certain, I guess, things you got to do in order to get that money. But it's the first time we've had somebody call up and say that they're experiencing this personally through their son. And it doesn't sound like it's a lot of money, but it's got to make a difference to him. So different.
That was fun today, Phil. Matty T, that was fun.
It's a good time.
Still got another half of soccer to watch here, and then a bunch of presents to wrap. And hopefully I'll figure that all out by the end of the day. Appreciate you guys as always. Matty T will have the Eastside Liquor Halftime podcast coming out soon, and Ruskin and Zach are standing by to take you from 2 until 7 on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. So we're back with you tomorrow. We'll get into this NIL and recruiting stuff. Danny West will join us tomorrow on Halftime. So for Matt Jones, for Matt Travis, I'm Phil. Have a great day. Get up, get out, and get better.
Come by and see us at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Toys